Like a red, white, and blue phoenix rising from the ashes of political bipartisanship, we are back. And this is Salt of the Streets podcast.
This is Saturday, September 29th, 2:23 p.m. It's episode 33.
And on this episode 33, very special episode, welcome back everybody to the Salt of the Streets podcast, your one and only source for social and political commentary on weekly news, pop culture, and sports built from the ground up for people like you and you. And you, and me, the everyday normal person. Join us as we discuss life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness and continue our endless efforts to bridge the gap between people and information. As always, we are your hosts. I'm Colin.
I'm Donovan.
And coming up on this very special episode, we're joined by the Salt of the Streets wives themselves, Carolina and Jordyn.
Hello.
We'll get into their social media handles and stuff later if they want to give those out. But coming up on this week's show, we're going to be discussing the Christina Blasey Ford Brett Kavanaugh hearing and all the updates since then. Essentially, just kind of we're going to be pulling back and talking about the social aspect, the social and political aspect of the discussions that are going on around this whole thing. And you know, I think there's enough articles, and it's been extremely prominent in the news. You probably understand a little bit what happened. So we're not going to go into every single point about the hearing itself. But we'll get into that. We'll have some video game talk, which we're really excited about. Carolina she missed last week's episode because she was working, but the week before that she had a very interesting experience with some mountain goats. And so we're going to talk about that. We might talk about Trump's press conference and some of the stuff that came up with that if we have time with that. We got a great edition of sports coming up. We got our fantasy talk. Don's going to do his pick'ems again. And
I'm doing terrible.
Well, I mean, he's not that bad. But anyways, before we get into all the heavy stuff, just a reminder, take a second to rate and review the show on whatever platform you're on right now, whether it's SoundCloud, Stitcher, Apple, iTunes, Podcasts. If you like what we're doing and want to help us out, all you got to do is give us a rating and a review. It would greatly help out the show, and we'd love you forever. Follow us on Instagram at Salt of the Streets. Give us a like on Facebook at Salt of the Streets. Check out our weekly blog on saltofthestreets.com, where you can also find everything else we put out. If you're the type to enjoy a video podcast, check out the Salt of the Streets YouTube channel. While you're there, don't forget to subscribe and click on the little bell icon to get notified. Give us a little thumbs up, and you'll get notifications whenever we drop a new video every single week. And again, because this isn't just a talk show, it's a conversation. If you have something to add to the conversation or just want to comment on the episode, don't be afraid to hit us up on our personal social medias. I am at Big Bird Offie on both Instagram and the Twitter machine.
I am I am at Salt of the Street on Twitter, and then alpaca_Donovan on Instagram.
And I think without any further ado,
Website,
saltofthestreet.com. Hit it up for everything else that we have. Anything that we put out, you can find it there.
all the stuff is on the website.
For sure.
And YouTube.
And YouTube. YouTube's awesome too. I already talked about YouTube. It's all in my script, girls. Give us a little trust here.
Anything, you're good.
But yeah, I think with that, we'll just jump into it, man.
Yes.
I was just saying, you were messing around with the sound a second ago.
Yes.
And I keep getting sound in and then sound off. Is your computer muted right now?
Oh, jeez.
I'm just wondering.
I'm just fucking with the output for my speakers, so that's really
Word.
headphones.
I like it.
Will you turn yours down just a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. Boom.
Can you hear anything now?
Yeah, I mean, I can hear some stuff. Yeah, we're good. So yeah, let's start talking about Brett Kavanaugh again. This is the third week in a row.
Yeah,
I think
so. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Hopefully we don't have to. Well, actually, we will probably have to talk about him again next week because of the FBI investigation.
Yes.
But you watched. Did you? I mean, you listened to the entire hearing?
As much as I could, yeah. There was a little while where I talked to Dave Z, about the hearing itself, and then I can turn this one up. That would probably benefit us, and turn that one up and benefit us, and then we'll be cooking. So I talked to Dave Z, but yeah, I listened to the majority of it. And we talk about the preface to this that he ended up having. We talked about it before, so you can go and listen to the last 2 episodes about it. But in between that time and now, several more allegations have come out, totaling 4 now, and those are.
I know the 2 other ones, the Sweatnick and the Ramirez.
4 is just the number that I've continued to hear, so that's what I have.
I think Michael Avenatti, besides the Sweatnick one, had another one, but it kind of got debunked rather quickly, or something like that.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
That's why I'm saying it's either 3 or 4. That's why we're not detailing them, because it's not.
Yeah.
I don't think that's not what we're gonna do today. So there are no shortage of other articles that you can go to find out exactly what the allegations are. I just don't think that for the purposes of this conversation it's particularly important.
I think you're 100% correct on that.
So, but that's it. He had a couple more allegations come out in between then. But this particular hearing that he did end up having on Thursday. I think last time we were talking about it happening maybe on Monday. And
Yeah,
I don't remember.
Because it was originally Monday, and then Dr. Ford's lawyers has asked for more time for X amount of reasons. A lot of reasons, but they moved it to Thursday.
Yes.
And, I was actually able to catch, I think, the first, Dr. Ford's opening statement and most of Kavanaugh's opening statement.
Yeah.
And then everything else I kind of watched in bits and pieces on C-SPAN and the various other, news feeds that were covering it.
Yeah.
But it was,
So what do you think? What do you think just generally about that situation? Do you think that one of them is lying? Do you think what do you think?
If we're going to look at it in that aspect, whether one of them is lying or not, which I think we can argue on the merits of that period, but I don't think either one of them necessarily is lying.
Yeah.
I think I don't know, I'm not going to judge, I'm not going to jump to any conclusions like he did it or he didn't do it. Because foundationally, there is no way to prove that he did or did not do it. Or I guess there was earlier this week, there was 2 people who had come out and tried to say that they were the ones that were responsible for it.
Yeah.
But it just kind of got brushed aside. I don't know if they actually had alibis. I don't know what ended up coming out of it other than apparently they were kind of dismissed.
Yeah.
But as far as who was more convincing or anything like that, I don't think anybody was or wasn't, I believe that this Dr. Ford seems to have experienced, something to what she's alleging, whether or not the name is correct or not. I'm not going to argue one way or the other because I think it's just unfair to take a side in this situation. You can't take anybody's side.
Right.
It just doesn't make any sense. But, I guess to get back to the root of your question, I don't know if anybody necessarily did quote unquote better or not.
So let me put it to you like this.
Yeah.
Because right now it seems to me this conversation is more about when you're talking about him being voted in. Right? It's something that has to be considered, even if there's no way to prove it. The allegation's there because she's there willing to testify under oath, that she is 100% certain that he's the person that did this, right?
Yeah.
You aren't able to fully discount that, right? And nobody is, because that's
you can't.
That's right. So it seems to me right now, this is really a conversation about probability.
Like vote in or vote
Right.
or not vote?
No. I'm talking about whether or not you take whether or not this affects your opinion of him, right? It seems to me this conversation is more about probability, right?
It's like the 51-49.
Yeah, right. I mean, when it comes down to in a sense of blame almost, like I said, who's lying and who's not. You have to look at it more like a probability, who. And so the way I look at it is almost more of a who has more to lose, right? Because a lot of the stuff that I've heard is that a lot of people think that she's lying because she's getting paid by whoever to come out here and do this, right? So
Yeah.
So let me.
And I don't buy that for a second.
So on that point, right, even if she was being paid originally to come out and do this woman has had so many death threats she had to move out of her house.
Yeah.
Like she's having to live in a different residence than her family for their own safety. So it seems to me that for any reasonable person at that point, whatever denomination of money you're making is no longer worth it because you're genuinely afraid of your life, and you can't fucking live in your own house.
Yeah.
Right? At
Literally
that point,
made your whole life impossible.
yeah, at that point, the money, I think, doesn't matter. Right?
Yeah.
So that story doesn't wash for me.
Me neither.
I also don't think, so this is part of why I'm asking, right? Because the conversation that Dave and I had was that he doesn't believe it because he thinks that there's a probability that too much other stuff could have happened, right? He's like it's just as possible that it's like what if when they were in high school she really wanted Brett Kavanaugh and he turned her down and she, was obsessed with him and it boiled in her and it festered in her this whole time that she conceived this fucking plot to do this, And I'm like, word, so I understand that is possible, but that's not very probable. Like the likelihood of that happening. In the example I gave Dave, I said, that's fine, right? I will grant you that is possible. So, but it's also possible that I go home and I kill my wife and my dog. But I'm probably not going to do that.
Yeah.
Like the likelihood is super fucking low that that's what's going to happen.
Which I'm super thankful for.
Like, so I'm just like, so that in itself doesn't wash, right? Because that's what we're talking about. All kinds of things are possible. We're talking about probability.
I see where you're coming from.
Is it more likely that she has come all this way to come to Washington under all this bullshit, under obvious stress, unless she's some type of psychopath, right, and is able to work up this whole fucking almost crying up there, and like
Not to
all this
mention
stuff,
the threat of perjury,
right?
of a felony
prison
charge. I mean, that's
Well, and what does she do professionally?
She is like a psychological researcher and a teacher at Stanford.
yeah,
And
So if she was crazy, she probably wouldn't be there.
right,
yeah.
and so that's why I'm putting it to you like that, where it's more about probability, right? Who has more to lose? Does it make more sense that she came here through all of these circumstances and has lied about it? Or does it make sense that for whatever reason, right, because there's all kinds of stuff that he doesn't remember it that way, he doesn't remember it at all, he doesn't whatever, that he's there and he's denying these things because he obviously has a fuckload to lose,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, at this point, socially, it doesn't super matter because a lot of people think he did it anyway, and are gonna think that forever, even if we never find out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Him, just like Dr. Ford, I mean, their lives have been irreparably changed.
yeah,
Like Kavanaugh was talking about during his hearing, he will probably never be able to go teach at Yale again.
yeah,
Something that he loves doing. He'll never be able to coach, his little girls' basketball team.
right.
Like he'll never have the things that are important to him in his life have now forever probably been stripped away.
And so that's why I got to think about probability, right? Because in one situation, I do give a fuck that all that happened to him. In another situation, I couldn't care any fucking less that was.
Yeah, it's the if it happened and if it didn't.
Because if that did happen, then fuck you. You sat out and this happened, and
Yeah, you should just feel lucky that you're
unfortunate-
not rotting in a prison
Right.
somewhere.
It's unfortunate this has aired out, and now you're losing all these things that you once loved. But you did that, and that's where we're at. But if he didn't do that, then that is fucking horrible.
Yeah.
That's what's happening to him.
And it's horrifying.
And
Yeah.
It's terrifying that a single individual's life could be irreparably damaged by a simple accusation.
yes,
And the fact that
by an untrue accusation, right? Because if it's true, like
uncredible,
I think that's
uncredible, not uncredible,
unverifiable.
unverifiable allegation.
Because I wouldn't call her incredible.
No, she's a credible person.
Yeah.
But what does that mean at the end of the day? It's still a credible accusation that is totally unsubstantiated
Yeah.
as of now.
It's
The
gonna-
FBI is now going to do an investigation
Right,
into that.
and that just came out just yesterday.
Yeah.
Because that was a big deal. We talked about that last week. That some people did want the FBI to do an investigation, some people didn't, and the only reason that I could see for it, other than because they kept quoting Joe Biden. Joe Biden's like, "Oh, well, they don't decide things. They don't decide things." I don't think that's really what the point is anyway. They want the FBI investigation to get some more facts, so they can have just a little bit more to frame it in, right? Because I don't think anybody's looking for the FBI to tell them exactly what happened.
Well, I would hope not.
Or who's wrong. Like,
because that's not what happens.
I think that they're looking to the FBI to just get more information, because these two are just two individuals that Brett Kavanaugh, has drank excessively by his own accord,
Yep.
And that's another thing that we'll talk about, is he fucking talking about blacking out, but that's another thing. And so I don't know. The precedent's been set already when the situation was almost exactly the same during the
Anita Hill?
Yeah, during the
Clarence Thomas, Anita Hill.
During all that. I mean, it's almost identical situations. The precedent's been set. The shit should be done, especially if it's going to cause this big of a fucking problem. If it's going to be this big of a problem, something's got to be done.
And the only reason I think to not do it is political timing.
So just delay, yeah.
Just delay it because the important stuff, and that's not what matters. And so I don't like the fact that and I guess right now it's just we have literally one source for this thing, so we can't necessarily write it off as I keep losing the word unsubstantiated, just because a full, thorough, quote unquote investigation has been done. And so I think we talked about that last week, where I would say, just do a fucking FBI investigation. It won't take very long, blah, blah, blah. It'll satisfy the people that need to be satisfied. And if you're worried about it being a politically partisan move, then you've now taken that piece off the board for them. So I don't see how it could be a lose situation unless you're literally just trying to ram it through.
And I think the only thing that I would push back on that, right, is that nobody should be satisfied with this hearing. Nobody. Not even anybody who was going to vote Kavanaugh in. No one should be satisfied with this. And so I don't think that it's just the people that need to be satisfied, because nobody should be. There is not by any means enough information here for anybody to feel confident in what happened. And no reasonable person, nobody who deserves to be sitting in a Senate chair there. Nobody should be convinced by this, because they don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm maybe not nobody, because maybe some of them know Brett Kavanaugh X amount of time. They know enough about his personal history, But if all those people know is the professional documents and information that they've received for this hearing, then none of them should be satisfied with this information.
So let me just ask you this question real quick. Is the only reason why a thorough investigation into this needs to be done, is it essentially because of the office, the seat of power that he will hold? Or is it just the fact that this is it's an accusation that we don't know anything about? What's more important there? Because I think one is reasonable, and I think one can be dangerous.
Yeah.
If this is just a precedent we're going to set just because a person who we decide isn't a crazy person, which makes them a credible source, brings an accusation against somebody with zero evidence, zero paper trails, nowhere to start or go, is this now the precedent that we're going to put down? And
no, and I wouldn't say just for the general public, but I think for the office, because I think in the standard civilian world, right? I think that the way that this would go, as shitty as people might think this is, fucking hashtag Me Too, whatever. I think that the way that would go in the civilian world is that's what a civil case is for, and that's what a private investigator is for. And that's unfortunate that in a civil world that comes at your cost, but this is the government that we're talking about, and someone being put in a government seat. And so it's not going to happen like that every time. And the reason it has to be that way is because if, for whatever reason, I'm not saying it's not justifiable, I'm not saying it's not understandable, it's not okay, it's not anything, but if that much time has passed in between the event and the allegation, you can't file any type of criminal charges most of the time, because the statute of limitations has gone by. And that's why it has to be that way. It's not because people don't support women. It's not because people want women to be put down, who want to be able to rape them and just fucking walk away and do whatever. That's not why. It's because, again, whether that is or is not okay, the statute of limitations is what it is right now. That's where it's set right now. And so that's the confines that you have to work with. And I think that if one of if that's a problem, then people need to work to try and change the statute of limitations and extend it. That type of thing has been happening before. I don't have specific examples here, but I know that statute of limitations have been extended before. So that's
I think it was a big issue in the Cosby case.
Yeah,
because they keep, I think, not correctly. I've heard a lot of correlations between Cosby and Brett Kavanaugh lately.
Yeah,
and it's totally garbage. But I think that's why a lot of the cases in Bill Cosby's case weren't able to be tried in a criminal court because they were all beyond statute of limitations. I mean, you look at it, he had one trial for one individual out of the 60 something
like that.
Insanely amount.
I think it might even have been 75.
Yeah.
But fact check, motherfucker.
But when you factor that aspect in, think about the Cosby thing. Because there's a lot of, there is one, I think, correlation that can be made between these two, is there is a plethitude. There's a great amount. Plethora. Wow.
A plethitude. Oh my God, yes.
I'm like, what is he talking about a platypus?
That's so funny that you thought platypus.
Plethitude.
See, I reached for that one and it crashed and burned.
That's
breaking news.
Plethitude.
No, breaking news. This thing from the Washington Post said that Tesla's Elon Musk settles with the SEC, will pay a $20 million fine, and resigns as board chairman.
So couldn't have seen that coming.
Stay tuned fucking next week for that, but breaking news.
Yeah.
So this is...
He'll probably stay on as like
Thank
the
you, Washington
creative, like a creative consultant or something like that.
Something
The
like
mastermind.
that. It just says that he's not the board chairman anymore.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
That doesn't mean he's not on the board.
Yeah. Yeah, and I didn't not see that coming, but we'll talk about that next week because that requires a whole thing.
That was 10 minutes ago.
Boom. Well, there you go. Breaking news on Salted Streets podcast. You'll get that in 2 days, or you heard that. We found this 2 days ago.
Could be your.
Oh, we're getting a phone call?
Yeah.
I was gonna say it could be your grandma's.
Dun dun dun. Or it could be a scam marketer person.
Let's check it out.
We're gonna check it out.
Hello.
Hi, I was calling for Donovan. This is Charmaine from Les Schwab.
Oh shit.
Oh, Schwabby.
Did I forget to
Jim.
haven't paid yet?
We always do this.
Always.
And I have a note in here that says pays at the end of the month, and so I waited till as long as possible to call you.
That is beautiful.
Well, I'm sorry. What was your name?
My name is Charmaine.
Okay, Charmaine. I'm gonna have to ask you a question real quick. So I'm doing a podcast right now. Answer the phone on the podcast. Do you mind if I use your name on the podcast?
You're doing what?
Do you know what a podcast is?
I do.
Yeah, so I do a podcast. It's called Salt of the Streets. It's a political commentary that I do with my friend Colin, and I am recording it right now. And I have a habit where if somebody calls me, I answer the phone and take it on the podcast. Do you mind if I use your name? If not, I can bleep it out. It's not a problem.
No, go ahead. Not a problem.
Cool. Well, I appreciate that. I will make my payment as soon as I leave here today.
That'll be fantastic.
Cool. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. You have a good day.
You too.
Oh,
Bye.
that was amazing.
Oh my
So-
god.
I love
There you go.
podcast
We
phone
should
calls.
ask her what she thought. I know you're at work right now, but
She's
can you give
working,
me just a
man.
couple minutes?
Yeah, so there you guys go. I almost always forget to pay Les Schwab.
We do, for
That's why
whatever
there's a
reason.
note in there that says that I pay at the end of the month.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was an option. Come on, Schwabby. Get me on that
They're
I
program.
don't know that it is,
That's
but I
nice.
think that I've done it enough fucking times that they're
Yeah.
like, listen, I'm not going to call you on the 15th anymore. I've had enough of this shit. Like, so they are always so fucking cool with me about paying my bill. That's like the first credit I ever got was at Les Schwab, and so I've had an account there for, since I was 18, so it's been like 5 years.
Oh,
So
I get it.
They're like really, really good with me about.
Well, I will say,
Nice.
shout out to Les Schwab, because Les Schwab actually, I love Les Schwab, man. They take care, they're not bullshit when they say they care about their
And they
their
literally come
customers.
running out to your car.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
They really do.
We're here to help.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out Charmaine, because I think she's the one that calls me every month. Shout out Charmaine, thank you very much.
She's awesome.
That's great.
Sorry, so we were right in the middle of Brett Kavanaugh. But I think one of the bigger problems, right, kind of like you were talking about earlier, is It's like people's reputations. You know?
Yeah.
And it's like, what do we do with a situation like this?
What kind of Pandora's box are we going to open up here if we
It's-
decide that this is okay?
Because there is a whole group of people, like the Me Too movement, right, that expect like instant criminal charges. You
Yeah.
expect instant belief of the woman's story, right? And that's not.
That's like the
I'm not-
far-flung example of hashtag believe all women.
Right, and
It's the extremes version of that. That's not what it truly means.
It's
And I'm
very
not
tribal.
saying
It's also
that.
not how the American justice system works. You are
Yeah.
innocent
Yeah.
until proven guilty.
Exactly.
I mean,
Yeah.
as much as that sucks.
Like I talked about in my blog post 2 weeks ago, it was like this court of, and I think I mentioned it on the podcast last week, the court of public opinion.
Yes.
We don't have, we have unwritten rules, and those can change on a whim depending on what the mob feels at that point. And so if we get into this, and I think we already are, but we're at this point where it's, it's a guilty until proven innocent situation, at least in the public's view.
It has become very tribalistic too. It's like,
Yeah.
you're a woman, you are a victim. All women should always support that.
Right. And I certainly don't like fully believe the counter. That's not saying that like, oh, you can't fucking believe a woman. Like,
Yeah,
but
that's
you
not-
can't believe anybody just because they
gonna
said
say.
something is true. I mean, it's not just because you're a woman.
Doesn't
it's
have
because
to be a
you
gender
can't.
Yeah.
No,
And that's the thing.
It's not
That was just
anybody.
an
Like
example.
that's why I don't think that. And no, that's not your argument, but for the people whose argument that is, I don't.
Yeah.
That's not legitimate. I mean, that's the
Nope.
the same idea. It's the exact same idea that fuels that. I mean. Men are a problem all the time, toxic masculinity is like just explosive in the fucking world. Like that's the same idea, that I don't believe that to be the case, that men as a gender are just aggressive and a problem all the time.
Yeah.
Like that they just, given the opportunity, they'll fucking rape you. I don't believe that to be the case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that even if you have, if this is the case, right? If this is true about Brett Kavanaugh, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that you could put 99 other people in that situation, and they would make a different decision. Probably, they wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
It's if that's true that he did do that, right? Because that's something inside of him that, for whatever reason, even at that time, made him feel like that was okay. I think that you could, like I said, 99 other people in that situation, and it would be different because
I would
at that
argue it's
point,
probably
that's-
99. I mean,
and I just mean
infinitely
1 out of
more.
100.
Yeah.
It's probably like it's that few amount of people. That you could. I mean,
Yeah, I would really
that's a
hope the
rare,
stats
like,
are not that
yes.
low.
I'm sure
or
it's
high,
much
but
higher than 99, but
I would
mean,
hope.
I mean that most other people are not.
If
say
you took a
99%.
test group of 100.
Yes.
99.9999%.
Yeah.
Yes.
Probably wouldn't do that.
So, I don't know. I don't believe this to be a problem in our country that's going on. I mean, a lot of things people point to, like the shit that happens on campuses. And they're like, well, there's all these kids that are getting suspended for raping people on campus. It's like, well, but that's not a criminal trial that kid went through. I mean, that's a Title IX trial that he went through on the campus, and the burden of proof in that is not.
There is none.
No, it's not that. It's not that it's beyond a reasonable doubt. It's like a preponderance of the evidence. So it's
Yeah.
50 plus 1. It's
I mean,
it's more likely that
in
you
black
did
and
than you
white,
didn't.
yeah.
Like and that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
it's the same thing that happens in the court of public opinion. But it affects that kid's school and his scholarships and
Yeah.
whether or not he can attend that college anymore.
And it's the public's view, subjective opinion of the preponderance of evidence.
Yeah.
And that's what really comes in, because if it's not a cut and dry, and if you're not if you're not proving guilt and you're trying to prove innocence,
Yeah.
it's completely different. It doesn't work the same way,
Like when someone
That's
calls
why
you
we
racist.
have that beyond a reasonable
I have tons
doubt.
of black friends.
That's why we have that wording in that guilty or innocent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can't work the other way. It can't be without, it cannot be a 51-49% decision.
No.
It's just, that's not,
Jordan B.
These are
Peterson
people's
actually
lives.
tweeted something about a judge ruling that probably isn't the most fair way to be handling that.
It is certainly
Yeah.
not the most.
Like
relevant
today,
handling
he
that.
did that.
Ooh, JBP.
I was actually going to ask, is it because Kavanaugh being the person, the public person that he is right now in the what's it called? In the process of possibly becoming
The confirmation.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you. Is it because of him being that? Is that why this whole thing became so public and did
Yeah.
not go?
And the
Could it-
timing
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
Could it have
Yes,
gone
and-
like in a quiet way? Could it have actually been
It could have.
investigated?
It could
Is
have
it that
back in
ruined that?
July.
Had this, yeah, and I don't think that should be understated. That should be taken for anybody who's watching this video, anybody who's listening to this. I tweeted this earlier this week, right? Regardless of what anybody said, there's one actually good point I think that most Republican senators made that day, right?
Yeah.
It's that no matter what the fuck Dianne Feinstein says this week or for the rest of her life, because she'll be having to defend this decision for the rest of her life,
Yeah.
there was a way for them to investigate this letter without it impeding on Blasey Ford's anonymity.
Yeah.
Right? And that's your argument is, oh, well, Christine wanted to be anonymous. She didn't want anybody to know who she was. She wanted her identity
Well,
to be
if she
secret.
wanted, I think we should just, touch on that real quick. It's not that she wanted to be anonymous. She wanted it to be confidential.
Okay.
Because
Sure.
she came to her representative, I think it was OSEF or OSEF,
Something
like that, her local rep, and then she forwarded it to Dianne Feinstein's office. And so those two knew who she was. They can, like you said, they
wanted
could,
it to be confidential.
yeah, she
not
just wanted to be
anonymous.
confidential.
Right.
And I think that's important just because she was putting herself out there
Right.
still.
Yeah.
But just asked
to the world.
essentially just keep this private, please. You know, I don't want my whole fucking life to be ruined about this because it's
Yeah.
probably going to. And then it did.
So regardless of, like I said, of what Senator Feinstein says, there was most definitely a way for that investigation to be done, and for that letter to be for that to be understood throughout the committee, and for it to be confidential at the same time.
Yeah.
So that argument is absolute bullshit, right? So Senator Dianne Feinstein knew about this letter was in July.
Yeah, it was in July. It was
And-
6 weeks, I think.
And she
beforehand.
chose to wait until the day after the confirmation hearing ended to.
I think it was the second day of questioning
There
that
we
it
go.
came
So
up. And she just said it was something along the lines of, I have received credible allegations, or I've received an
and
allegation against
that's
you.
when she mentioned it, but the letter didn't actually come out until a couple of days later when
It got leaked.
The Intercept
Yeah.
reported its existence, right?
Yeah.
And so she had all of these opportunities that she could have brought it up, that she could have asked Kavanaugh about it, she could have talked to the other senators about it, she could have started an investigation, requested the start of an investigation.
Yeah, it's called a confidential investigation. And it just requires you to inform the Senate Judicial Committee, your committee members, or even the chairman of these allegations. He could call a vote, because not every meeting they have is a public meeting.
Right.
He could have called a session, had them vote on a confidential investigation, and they could have had a confidential investigation going before the fucking nomination hearings even started.
And it is Dianne Feinstein that politicized this situation.
Yeah.
That took it away from something that actually could have possibly helped Blasey Ford and actually could have helped us get a little bit more insight into Brett Kavanaugh and maybe something he did or did not do. But instead, she decided to use Blasey Ford as a pawn in this giant bullshit political game that she's trying to play with Brett Kavanaugh, and ruined it because she took away any chance
Yeah.
for either of them to get a fair shake of the situation.
And I'm going to go ahead and say I agree with that point of view, but there's also another point of view, and which is not necessarily.
What's fucking wrong?
I don't think it's actually that, because I do believe this is literally. I think this is this is incredibly transparent partisan politicking going on
the
the Supreme
part of-
Court level.
On the part of
Just-
Feinstein?
All of them.
Yeah.
Every single one of them.
You mean
Not
the
every single one of
senators
them.
or-
The senators on the Judicial Committee.
Okay,
The
because
ju-
that's
the
what I'm saying.
committees now have become so politicized.
Yeah.
It's the bully pulpit. That's
I just-
what it is. But what I'm trying to say, there is another side of that is possible, and that's just the fact, gross negligence on Senator Feinstein's part or her staff. It is very possible that somebody on her staff, broke ranks and leaked it. It could
Yes.
just be that she wasn't going to bring it up, but then she did at the hearing, and so I'm just saying it's not very credible that that's the case, but there is still a chance that is the case, and she isn't involved in that game. And I just want to make sure that we put that out there because for as unlikely as it looks when you take in the big picture, it is still possible.
It is possible.
I don't agree. I don't think that way.
That is,
but
that
I think
is
it's
my
important
opinion.
to bring up.
Yes, that is my opinion that she was used as a pawn.
And I think that's just because I think that's an educated guess. You know, I'm not an educated guess, but it's an informed opinion.
Yeah.
That you would have. It's not an uninformed opinion, which is very, very different. Which a lot of people are making uninformed snap judgments.
One thing that I do want to touch on, right, was he was talking to Gillibrand.
Christian Gillibrand?
Yes, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
And they were talking
Or
about...
is it Christian Nielsen? No, this is Christian Gillibrand.
Who was talking to her?
Brett Kavanaugh
Okay.
was during the hearing,
Okay.
during the questioning, right? And she was talking to him about excessive drinking and like blacking out while he was drinking.
Right.
And he really was kind of a dick to her and was like really kind of disrespectful. But he got asked about times that he had drank excessively.
Like
right?
if he has ever been blackout drunk?
No. Specifically asked about times that he had drank excessively.
Okay.
And he said that there was tons of times that he had drank too many beers and drank excessively, like that's a thing that had happened, right? And so then Gillibrand asked, so in all those times that you drank excessively, right, were there any times where you like woke up and were in a different place than you fell asleep?
Oh, yeah.
Were there
I
times where you
remember
woke up and your clothes were in a different, order than they were when you fell asleep? Were there times where you woke up and you forgot either all or part of what you did the night before? And he said, no, that's never happened to me before. So I'm not going to say that that's perjury, right? Because I don't want to go that far. But I don't think that that's true. I don't believe that anybody who has drank excessively numerous amounts of times has ever had a time where they have not forgot at least part of what happened the night before. I'm not saying full blackout because I personally have never fully blacked out an entire night of what I did, right? So I'm not going to say that that's not possible. We never did that. But there have been times where I have missed even just 30 minutes, of where I'm like, oh, I remember this happened, and you're sitting there with your friends the next day, and you're like, oh, I remember this happened, it was funny, and then this happened. Someone else is like, oh yeah, and then this. You're like, well, what?
They're like, well, you were way wasted at that point.
In between A and C, you did this, and you're like, oh, what the fuck, right? So like I said, I'm not going to say that he perjured himself because I don't want to go that far.
I'm not going to assume
I
that
don't believe that that's the case.
Yeah.
Not even one time. There hasn't been a single.
Just fuzzy memory.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about full blackout, right? I'm talking about you're telling me, you can tell me with 100% certainty you've never lost even 5 minutes of a night of excessive drinking. I don't think that's the case. Yeah. So I don't think that's an honest answer. And I think that's what he should have said.
That's a really good point.
Well, that just kind of goes back to the probability thing.
So I'm saying I don't think that it's perjury.
What are the chances? Yeah.
But I think the chances that he has... Because the way that he made it sound is he used to get fucked up all the time. Still likes to get fucked up sometimes. I still like beer. I still like to drink beer. Said that a whole bunch of times. Oh, there was all kinds of times where I drank too many beers, right? So I'm saying I'm trying to be very specific. I'm not talking about full blackout. I'm not talking about 4 hours. I'm not even talking about a whole hour. But if this type of instance was as short as Christine Blasey Ford makes it sound, right? It could be as short as 5 fucking minutes that it's all happened in. And I'm not saying that this is the 5 minutes that he blacks out. But the probability that he's drank excessively numerous times and he's not forgot even 5 fucking minutes of one night of that, I don't buy that.
I will concede to that. I cannot find any logical way to argue against that other than the fact that I'm not going to assume that everybody has lived like that experience that you and I probably have.
Right.
I can count on one hand how many times it's happened to me.
Right.
But I mean, if
this dude said that he did. Like, he said he admitted openly that he did live that lifestyle. And there's numerous people that wrote in letters under threat of perjury,
it's
right?
Almost
under federal crime.
Yeah,
that said that he drank excessively, used to get shit housed, used to drink all the time.
It was college.
That's even if they said that he did that, but I still don't think that he would do that. You know, I don't think that he would do this, but he did used to get fucked up.
Did he ever say that?
People that did that.
Did he ever say that when he was under oath?
Say what?
Say that he has done that under oath?
Yes, yeah. He said when he was being questioned on Thursday, he said there was lots of times where he drank too many beers, where he drank to excess, where he did this in several different ways. He said there were times where he had drank excessively.
Yeah. Like I said, I concede to that point. But still, at the end of the day, like I have a hard time arguing this sometimes because even though, like, to me as an individual, if I was on that committee, I am voting to not recommend for reasons that have absolutely nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
But that aside, like, I'm still, like, to me that would not be enough evidence if there is, you know, I could see it like the possible perjury side of it, obviously, but it's still like when it comes down to it, there's no way to prove that aspect of him saying that he hasn't done that makes him any more guilty in the possibility of being guilty that he actually did that. I could see the you know, if we're going to look at this in the probability realm again, like what are the chances of, you know, the chances that he did do it that's going to tick up a little bit more. And I think that, let's say we're putting in percentages, 50-50. I think it's not gonna tip the scales much of anything in the grand aspect of this whole situation.
And my point really for that is more on credibility, right?
Yeah.
Where he's not being honest. You know, like I said, I'm not gonna say that he perjured himself because I don't think that's a bold fucking lie.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's being totally honest. And I think that's a problem. I think that he would look better if he said, like, yeah, no, I'm sure that there's at least a couple of minutes, you know, that happened that, like, I can definitely say that there isn't whole chunks of nights that I don't remember. You know, I've never blacked out whole chunks.
Yeah.
But I can't say whether or not there hasn't been 5 minutes that I forgot, you know? And that looks fucking terrible. And they're going to say, so this is the 5 minutes in which you did this, you know?
That would be a death sentence.
But it's honest. And that's what I think this is about, is credibility. And it's tiny shit like that. The people like me and other pundits who really fucking have it out for him, they're going to hang on to little stuff like that, you know? And I'm sure, I'm probably not correct. I don't think that it would be better this way, you know, or better the other way if he were to have been honest, you know? But for me, it's better if he would have been honest about it. You know?
Yeah, I can
there's
get that.
a lot of other people who feel that way. I mean, scroll through Facebook and see, like, if he had just come out and said, like, yeah, I was a dumb, you know, I was a teenager, I was a college student, like, everybody does stupid stuff.
But the minute he says that, he forfeits the position.
Right.
And, you know, he knows the games that are going on. And, you know,
He's been in it for a while now.
Yeah. And I don't want to say, I mean, it sounds so blasé when you put it like this, but essentially in the grand scheme of things, that might be more of a white lie type of situation.
Yeah.
Because does it, again, the percentage of that actually making the difference?
And that's what I'm saying.
Actually saying it and committing political suicide?
And that's what I'm saying. I'm not talking full perjury.
But yeah.
You know? That's why I don't think it's just a bold out fucking lie that he.
And for somebody that really takes the truth of matters as serious, as important as you do, I can see why you would essentially hold that against him. That's a chip on your shoulder that you're not ever going to give up.
For me, that's a tick on the wrong side.
Yeah.
You know, that's not that you're not even. I don't know, because I'm not going to say he got himself into this, you know, because I don't know that that's the case, but.
Yeah.
If you're gonna go out and you're gonna get fucked up, if you're gonna be Obama, you're gonna do coke, you're gonna write in your book, I did a little blow.
Yeah.
You know? You did it at a time where it doesn't really matter anymore, you know, like that's when you like copped up to it, like that's when you said it.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna be a man, if you're gonna go out and you're gonna do shit, then say that you did shit. You know, don't fucking lie about it. Because that's exactly what it is. If you wanna go out and you want to have a good time, you want to get fucked up, you want to do this stuff, you want to make mistakes, say, you know what, I got fucked up a lot of times. You know, I got wasted a lot of times. And I can tell you that there isn't whole chunks of evenings that, like I said, you know, there isn't whole chunks of evenings that I don't remember. There's not even whole hours that I don't remember, you know. But I can personally attest that there isn't maybe a walk home, that I don't remember. Like, that's very possible that I woke up and I'm like, fuck, I don't remember walking home last night.
Yeah, it's like, man, how did I walk 9 miles last night?
Exactly.
I've literally heard that story before. Like, I got home
him, that's
and
so
everybody called. You're calling around because you're worried that that your friends let you make a stupid ass decision and drive home or something like that. So you're calling your friends and be like, dude, how the fuck did I get home last night?
Yeah,
it's like, bro,
definitely.
you walked.
You roll over and
walked.
look at your phone with one eye to scroll
Yeah.
through. Like, who did I ask for a ride? Like,
It's just sometimes you got to do that. So
Yeah.
it's super hard to believe that he's made it through his whole 50-some-year-old life, and
Yeah, that's very
hasn't
hard to
had that
believe, but I'm not
experience.
willing to throw out the possibility
No,
that
and-
he is a total perfect angel who has never done that.
right.
Right.
And that is the public image he's kind of painted of himself, is that this kind of, former party boy who's basically been a golden child most of his life. I mean, even while he was quote unquote a party boy, when he talks about his calendars and all this stuff, and he talks about, him being in, basketball, the love of his life, the passion of his life of basketball, and all these different extracurriculars he was involved in and all this stuff. But then again, I mean, he does have a confirmable past as belonging to a couple of these fraternities that are notorious party houses or whatever. And
Yeah.
but again, I'm not just going to say because that is possible that makes him any more or less guilty.
Right.
And that's my
And
problem
that's-
is I'm not willing to take that statement and just, no, that's it. Like, no. I still don't have any proof that you committed this one crime. And this is what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
I can understand that. I can be okay with that because I understand that a Supreme Court judge is still going to be a fucking individual person
Yeah.
who lived a full fucking life. And, I don't want a robot as a,
No,
As a
and my
Supreme Court anyways,
problem
but-
is not that he's getting fucked up, right? Like, that's not
Yeah.
my problem. I don't care that that's what he's doing. But, again, that's not what he's, that's not what he's in this hearing.
it kind of
about,
weighs
whether or not
against
he's
his
fucked up.
credibility.
Yeah.
Right.
because
Saying
he- yeah.
unreasonable things.
Saying
Yeah.
unreasonable things about getting fucked up. That's what the problem is, Because, again, I don't care. I don't care if he gets to the Supreme Court and he just used to party all the time. I
Dude,
give
you
a
don't
shit.
gotta lie
I
to
don't
kick
care
it,
about
Brett.
that,
You don't gotta lie
I-
to kick it.
You don't got a lot to kick it,
But
homie.
you have to, especially in this hearing, you have to look at that thing on the grander scale of why he's here. You
Yeah.
know, and that's where it starts to matter on that tick mark.
And I guess it just
He-
depends on how much
There's-
it weighs.
There's other things that I think started to count against him. I mean, how combative he was with the Democratic senators.
I don't think that was a problem.
I don't. It certainly doesn't look fucking good, especially to the people that you're trying to convince that you didn't do this.
Well,
You
I mean,
know?
I don't blame him.
There's
I'll just say
that's-
that.
okay, as a person who has whatever level of respect you have for the government,
Mm-hmm.
you think that that's proper for him to go in there and speak to senators that way?
It's kind of his job to be the bigger person.
Well, okay, I'll put it this way. If he was to go the other route and not become emotional and passionate,
Yeah.
he'd have a whole nother slew of problems.
People will be like, why don't you care?
'Cause I'm saying, like-
But there's a difference between being emotional and being passionate and being disrespectful to the people that you are about to be on the same level as in a different branch of the government.
Yo, way higher level.
What did he say or what did he do? Like I don't.
I mean,
You're
he
talking
was
about
pissed.
you're talking about two branches of the government, right?
Yeah.
The judicial branch, the top of that's the Supreme Court.
That's right.
The legislative branch, the top of that is the Senate.
Yeah.
So they are at the
I mean,
same level
technically.
in different branches of the
Hey,
government.
man, I'm just saying. Okay, this is a personal opinion about how
Perspective point.
important the government is. I'm just
And
saying,
that's-
Supreme
and
Court is a
that's
little
fine.
bit more than the senators.
And that's fine.
But realistically, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Check
That's
it out,
not very
Offie.
proper, especially if you're trying to sit here and say I am credible. I mean, not even that. He also came off. Well, I fucking deserve this. I've worked this amount of time. I've done all this stuff. I deserve this. I deserve
Yes.
to. I deserve this.
I do not like that part of his argument at all. But I am not going to. Okay, they are both competing at the same level. He is arguing for a raise, or not a raise, a promotion
Yeah.
to the Supreme Court. That's what he's doing
a job
right now.
interview.
Yes, this is a job interview.
Shittiest job interview ever.
Right.
Ever. Yeah, I think Senator Graham said
I
it.
was gonna say who
Exactly.
said that.
But I mean, I can understandably. I can understand him being completely combative and upset that somebody in that high-ranking position as a senator is willing to make all these high-level accusations and assumptions based off of no evidence whatsoever other than a accusation. I can understand how he could be furious at the fact that this is not something senators should be lowering themselves to the way they have been, the way they've been. I mean, I think politics, the political side of this, really takes over at this point.
And I could,
because this is a failure of the Senate Judicial Committee on levels that have never been seen before. This whole thing has been absolutely atrocious. This has not been anything more than a public court, situation. It's so public, it's so politicized that the true fundamental job of this committee, and I think I said this last week, has been completely unavailable. You have not been able to get any realistically honest answers because depending on which fucking team you're on, you're either just attacking him over something or you're trying to safeguard him somehow.
Yeah.
And, in the Republican side, they're throwing him softball questions and all this stuff, and then the Democrats on the other side are blatantly trying to ask questions that he can use the Ginsburg rule and not say. He can get away with not saying these things.
Yeah.
And nobody's really trying to ask the questions that we can ask. I mean, some are. I got some stuff from Dick Durbin that I was really happy with. But especially in this latest hearing, it's all gone out the fucking window. It's like we're just assuming guilt one way or the other, and then they're just lining up on each side.
so let me say like this: it's understandable, but inappropriate, right? Because I'm not saying that I don't understand how he could get there, but
it's inappropriate.
Super inappropriate.
Yeah.
Super fucking inappropriate.
Yeah.
And especially if his stance is that the Senate is lowering themselves to all this, then be the fucking bigger man. You're trying to sit here and say that you deserve to be here, that you've earned to be a fucking Supreme Court justice, then act like one.
Then be the only
Then act like
person
one.
in the room.
You know what I'm saying? And maybe that's not taking enough consideration into exactly his experience over the last 10 days.
Well, especially if at the end of the day, if you're not going to get that fucking job anyways, you're not going down without a fight. Like, my whole life is fucking ruined now.
Then he should
I'm
just be
going down
honest.
swinging.
What's
Then
the
he
worst
should
thing
just
that's
be
gonna
honest. He
happen?
shouldn't be asking
Right?
senators if they've blacked out before when they're questioning.
Oh, yeah,
him.
yeah.
Like that's what I'm talking about. That shit is totally fucking inappropriate. That's not reasonable.
No.
That is totally unreasonable for him to be firing shit back at the senators.
Yes.
I'm not saying he can't have an aggressive tone, but for him to be firing shit back at senators is completely unreasonable.
Okay. And I'm glad you clarified that because I agree with you on that point.
That's what I'm saying. That's
100%.
disrespectful as fuck. Like,
Yeah, and I think the reason why I jumped there is because whether I was listening to the New York Times podcast, NPR, whatever, the argument that I hear being pushed, the narrative that I hear being pushed is just the fact that he was aggressive. And it's no fucking way I'm going to hold him accountable for being aggressive. But yes, I do. I even remember him asking some of those questions. And,
Yeah.
And that is inappropriate. And like I said, I already have a reason not to vote for his ass. Move on. Okay? It's done. You didn't need to ruin his fucking life to do this.
Yeah.
But you could have found perfectly reasonable ways to justify a no vote without having to destroy his fucking life.
Yeah.
If that's the political move that was made, which thanks to the actions that were taken and the timeline that went down, it looks really, really bad for the Democrats on that side. Because it looks so transparently like a fucking political move, to a delay tactic or whatever you call it.
And I think I would halfway disagree, right? Because I think for some of them that is the case, but I don't think that for all of them.
No, I think the major players.
That's why I think that Feinstein is the one that did that, right? But I don't think that for like Dick Durbin and shit like that, they're trying to figure shit out.
Yes.
And that's why I don't think...
I'm talking the Cory Bookers,
And that's why I also think that it's so ridiculous almost for him to be acting that way, because I understand that at this point, right, things have been unsubstantiated, but that's because they haven't done any type of investigation into it to try and substantiate it, right? Which is exactly what they were talking about with the FBI investigation.
Yeah.
the Republicans keep trying to throw it back in the Democrats' face. Oh, well, you guys haven't tried to get an FBI investigation because up until this point, all this contention, do you really think that's going to fucking happen? I mean, if they're not even able to get the documents that they want requested from Chuck Grassley, why would they think that they could get a fucking FBI investigation into what's going on?
Like you said earlier, wouldn't it make them look like the bigger fucking people?
And
trying to do things procedurally right, being vocal about it, putting the Republicans on blast for making all this fucked up moves, and not trying to politicize it the way they have. It's the rules of the fucking Senate are in black and white. You can fucking read them.
Yeah.
Most of them have to ask their fucking clerks to. Well, is this fucking pot? Can we actually get away? Okay, yeah. No, I want to. I'm calling a motion.
Right.
And there's a right way for this to have gone, and it has been so fucking butchered because I don't think half these senators on the committee understand how that shit's run, except for the old farts.
Right.
Which is why they're not the ones
they're
throwing stones for the most part. Because they probably don't know how to text their clerk behind them to ask them the question.
Yeah.
But that's a whole other aside.
They write it down and hand it back.
I think it's just, the whole situation is so fucked up. It has been a breakdown of parliamentary procedure, of, the whole judicial aspect of this thing, I think should have been thrown out a long time ago. At this point, if this was a trial, this would be a fucking mistrial and a half. Try again. Everything about this whole situation is wrong. Mm-hmm. It's just not, it's not okay.
Agreed.
None of this is okay. Like I said, there was, it's like the Trump thing, man. Like when Trump first got into office, President Trump, people taking, low blow shots and kind of reaches and stuff like that. When there were
talking about his baby dick.
There was 100. There were 100 legitimate reasons you could have come after him.
Yeah.
And it was even better because there's a bunch of evidence there to talk about it. I mean, mind you, it's a politically subjective side, but if you really,
right.
But I mean, there's legitimate things to hit Kavanaugh on.
Yeah.
From the first 2 days of hearings.
That's what
and nobody's fucking doing that.
That's what I was talking to Dave about, because I mean, I told you, Dave's stance is pretty much the government's all bullshit anyway. Everybody's a fucking liar. So, none of this really matters anyway.
The NASCAR jacket theory.
And I told Dave, I said,
an existential view.
And I said, Dave, I understand what you're saying, but I can't live my life like that.
No.
If I assume that everybody in the government's a piece of shit, I'm gonna fucking kill myself. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no point in me living my life if there's no greater good to anything that's fucking happening. Like,
you don't need to kill yourself. You can just go full on fucking,
anarchist.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Catwoman stuff.
Yeah.
There.
Sorry, we got you way off topic. Z-Man against the. Yeah, your faith in the governmental system.
Yeah, what did you say before that though? Because that was only leading up to what I was gonna say.
God damn it. What was I saying? The breakdown in this whole judicial system. We need to basically consider this thing a mistrial. Try again.
God.
How politicized the nomination hearing has been. Maybe a link between the amount of public pressure on these things.
First couple days.
Oh yes, we're back. Thank you very much. Yeah,
Good save, Jordyn.
That's right. Yeah,
you know your husband. So, thank God this is the wife show.
Because
we got you.
Because Dave was saying that he thinks that it's all bullshit or whatever. And I said, well, I feel that. I said, but even before this, when I listened to 16 hours, 18 hours plus of the hearings, I didn't think that he should be put in. So there's a lot of stuff that happened then that I did not think was correct. I did not think was fitting as somebody who would.
We talked about it probably two episodes ago. Yeah,
you want to check that out? Episode 31 is what that's going to be on. I told him, I said, so I don't even think it should have been this far. And I said, I don't think that he should be confirmed at all. So there's a lot of stuff when it comes to, just like he's written, that any gun law is unconstitutional. I don't think that's correct. There's a lot of times that he ruled in favor of big businesses. I don't like anybody that rules increasingly or overwhelmingly in favor of big businesses over individuals.
And we'll argue about contract law later.
But but there's a lot of shit that I heard over that time that I did not think. A lot of reasons that I did not think he should be confirmed. So
I remember the one that did it for me was that Dick Durbin question that he asked about one of an old court hearing that he had.
The president's power to overrule any law at any time. And he
used that because it was all about immigration. And, you know, he went back and he said, you know, I already explained it a couple episodes, so I won't go into it. But yeah, his feeling that he could use an assumption on what the judges did then because they looked at an immigration law that was about to come into law, and then he was like, well, yeah, we could do that now. I can look at the immigration law as part of it and just assume that because we know they're changing or whatever, that I'm gonna interpret this sentence the way it did. And I had gone through, I went and pulled his opinion from that court case and then the citation that he made, and I pulled the citation from him. And I mean, it's pretty simple reading when you read it and you go, I don't get that at all.
Right.
And so that, even though I'm not a fucking constitutional lawyer,
What?
it's just from a common sense reading of what I think that law said, I didn't think that his mind worked the way it should have.
I have that quote here if you want me to fire that off one more
Fire it off, baby.
So the quote that Kavanaugh had from that, it was Dick Durbin in the first, what? Yeah, it was Dick Durbin in the first day of questioning, I believe. And the quote from the Kavanaugh opinion was, under the Constitution, the president may decline to enforce a statute that regulates private individuals when the president deems the statute unconstitutional, even if a court has held or would hold the statute constitutional.
Wrap your mind around that one.
So that's
Right.
in regular people terms. That essentially says the president can choose whether or not a law applies to any individual at any time. I mean, that's
Well, yeah, and that was one of his questions. I don't think that was the only question, because the one I remember
That's
was,
just the quote from the.
yeah, it was like pro tan. It was some kind of tanning company versus the state, essentially, or no, not the state, the labor union. Big.
Yeah, and I don't have
big
the case
advocate
here.
program for that.
I don't have the case here for what it was.
Go back 2 episodes. I even mention it and I read the statute.
You knew it
that way.
then.
Yeah.
But like we said, there was plenty of ammunition to not vote for this guy this way.
yeah.
Like, you know, if you're trying to justify a no vote, you don't have to side one way or the other on this case. You can be like, you know what, I don't think there's enough evidence for me to throw a no because it's an unsubstantiated accusation, but I am going to vote no for this reason. Because I am a senator that is doing my fucking job, and I've already, before this whole thing even blew up, he was a no vote.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to try to convince my Republican colleagues to have a no vote
Just
on
abstain.
this. Or abstain.
Just don't, you know.
Just based off of the things that are already there. You know? And I understand that the judicial committee does not actually, he doesn't vote him in or not. This is essentially a suggestion to the rest of the Senate.
Right.
And then
Well,
the full Senate votes on it.
Didn't they already do that?
They did. They did
Yeah.
vote on Friday. Then he did get confirmed through the Judiciary Committee.
Yeah.
11-10, long party lines, exactly as everybody thought it was going to be.
Yep.
But the next day, no, Julie, it was just later Friday.
It was later
Friday that an FBI investigation was opened. It was expanded on his background, is what really happened.
Limited in scope and in time.
Yes, but they did extend. They slightly opened the scope, but it is limited in scope to what they are supposed to be looking at. But an FBI investigation has been opened up,
And that's going to
into
mean
these allegations. So
and that's going to
more
mean
facts.
essentially
Just more information is all that's going to mean.
because the FBI is going to go out and get statements from any witnesses that they can track down, which essentially is these 4 other people, and then they're going to deliver that to the Senate committee, and they're going to see what everybody said, and then they're going to make an assessment off of that.
Yeah.
The FBI doesn't get they go no further.
No.
They don't make any recommendations or anything like that.
Intelligence
Just
gathering.
bring in the hard data, baby.
Yeah.
Which, again, who knows? And so I guess it's looking like it's going to come down to, they're saying 4 different senators. You know, the usual kind of swing 4.
Yeah.
Susan Collins.
Because Jeff Flake ended up voting for.
Yeah, he voted for it on the committee.
Yeah. But I don't, whether or not he's going to vote for him to be put in place, I don't know. But
Yeah, I don't know, because it's got to be a separate vote, right?
Yep. Yeah,
That's a vote again.
full Senate vote.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's been planned because they're waiting for the investigation. But when
It's supposed to take 1 week, apparently.
Yeah.
Everything that I'm reading as of this morning says
Take
1 week. And so I guess we'll have to, again, we'll be talking about that next week, I'm sure.
The
We'll
FBI
see how.
investigation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then they'll
See how
they'll-
true that reigns.
Yeah, and a lot of it now, it's not up to
I
Senator
agree.
Grassley anymore, who is the Oh, Chloe, the show dog's here. Her tail of doom is slapping the fridge.
Oh, slap a fridge. Slapping fridge and desk. Sit down.
Baby, you
sit
wanna
down.
Yeah.
Get that, please and thank you.
Like,
But anyways, yeah, like I said, it's now Senator Grassley, the chairman of the Judicial Committee, is kind of, his responsibility is kind of done.
Yeah.
Now we're looking towards Mitch
So he
McConnell.
has to vote again.
Yes, and Mitch McConnell is a totally different senator politically than Chuck Grassley.
Very.
And so I think just guessing here, I think looking at Mitch McConnell's past, this is going to be a, screw you, Harry Reid. We are going to shove this down your fucking throat, and we're going to vote for this as soon as fucking possible.
Yeah.
Because I think Mitch McConnell's more looking for a political win than anything else.
Well, which is interesting, right? Because Mitch McConnell said when Brett Kavanaugh was selected for the confirmation, he didn't think that was a good idea. So
Yeah.
He thought that he should have selected somebody with a smaller history, not as much paper trail, less for people to look into.
Yeah, he wanted
pick
somebody that
who's
would
a little
be-
less known, and President Trump, being who he is, being unexperienced politically, just did whatever the fuck he wanted, and selected the guy who has the most information anybody could take and caused a whole bunch of fucking problems, even without this particular investigation, even
Yeah, just-
without this accusation,
Yeah,
all kinds of fucking problems.
Yeah, because how long would it have taken to properly gone through all of his shit
Oh, weeks.
during the time he was
Weeks.
in, he was with President Bush for, what, 3 years?
I
Almost
think 5
everywhere.
years.
Yeah, for almost
5
everywhere
years.
he went, involved in all these things. I mean, he was a huge player in the Obama, or, oh my God, the
Bush White House.
The Bush White House.
Bush 2.
So how long would that have taken? That would have taken well
Weeks.
beyond midterms.
Yep.
And that's what McConnell said, no, we got to do it now.
Bullshit, dude.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
I don't like, I generally side on the more conservative side, but I don't like the way the political game is being played and has been being
No.
played for a long time.
No.
It's all
So
dirty.
dramatic.
It's.
And see, like, I have a lot of faith in the system. I just don't have a lot of faith in the current players
People-
that are in the system.
That I
Yeah.
can, and that I totally agree with.
Yeah.
That there's a lot of people that are in the system that I do not fucking love. But it's those same people that I've been talking about for like 5 or 10 years that I'm like, unfortunately, you got to wait for them to die.
Yeah.
As shitty as that is, you have to wait for this, like, as much as I love all these older people in my life, you have to wait enough time for that old breed to be pushed out for the way that we think about shit to take hold and
The
be
natural
more
order.
dominant. You know what I'm saying? You have to wait.
Yeah.
Like it's
That's why we have generations.
I was gonna say, what was it, 3
It is.
generations?
yeah, things used to 20 years ago, this stuff that's happening worked just fine.
Yep.
Worked exactly the way that it was supposed to. These people doing the stuff,
A lot better.
it worked. That's what I'm saying. The way that it was supposed to,
Yeah.
with those people doing pretty much whatever the fuck,
Yeah, I think
and
I
now
hear
shit just doesn't work.
most people that are in the realm of ideals and stuff kind of look towards the Reagan era, Nixon era, that timeline, 60s maybe,
Yeah.
or late 50s type of
70s.
thing,
The
to
American
look at the
golden age.
kind of
The
You know,
downturn. Of
when
Watergate
politics
was a.
and
And then it all went down.
all I'm going to say is what happened around that timeline. Think about it. What was the major cultural advancement in that timeline?
Technology.
Broadcast fucking television.
Oh.
People started watching things.
Yeah.
The public
See
became way more invested in,
Same thing with the internet.
and it's gotten more, just as we all become
makes
more
sense.
plugged in. It's more and more public involvement, public, every time there's a camera on now, a politician's got to be politic. He's got to be on the
Right.
campaign trail every single time. And I don't know if it's just we haven't, politics just in general has become such a game of elections.
Yeah.
People aren't elected so much on their values and their views. It's just a popularity contest for a lot of times, and I think that bleeding over pretty substantially in my eye right now.
Yeah.
It's why everything's so political now. It's 'cause we all have eyes on it. These
'cause
people
we
are fucking
can.
celebrities
You
now.
get to have an opinion?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah, that's
Yes, please.
yeah, right? And that's amazing.
Yeah.
But the problem is, I think a lot of people I'm getting some kind of echo right now in my headphones. Oh, the headphones. Here, I'm holding.
No, you're good because they're plugged in over here. I just
the-
bumped into them.
Crap, I lost my point. the people being plugged in now. Yeah, politicians are now they have more celebrity status for the people. I think we mentioned it in the pre-show perhaps, but it was like 30 million people watched the hearing apparently. I mean, it's broadcast on every cable news channel. Mm-hmm. You know, every single one of Alyssa Milano was there, thanks to Dianne Feinstein. And yeah, I don't get that. Yeah, and see, that's another reason that it just starts.
I don't give a fuck about Alyssa Milano.
Yeah, why did you invite her here? I'm just asking Dianne Feinstein.
You gotta represent Me Too, son. Me Too has to have a seat in the building.
Exactly. Why is that even on Dianne Feinstein's fucking mind?
The same reason
she should be thinking about
waited fucking 6 weeks to tell anybody about anything.
Now we're never ever going to find out, but I think we should probably get close to wrapping this. Brett
been on it for like an hour.
Yeah, we should probably wrap it up. So let me end it on this.
That's what I was looking at.
No, I've been watching it. Been watching it for about 20 minutes or so. So
okay.
I knew we were getting here.
We knew this was going to be long.
I was letting you wrap up. I liked where you were going. I was letting you do you.
So to put a final bow on this thing, I'm just going to leave you with a question. And we don't need to ask about it because there's no way we're just going to be implying things that we have no knowledge on. Mm-hmm. There was only 3 parties that knew of Dr. Ford's confidentiality request.
Yes.
Her local representative, Dianne Feinstein's office. There is probably less than, I don't want to say maybe 20 people that knew this story.
In between the 3 parties?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who leaked it to The Intercept? Who made this an issue? Because it may not be Dianne Feinstein's thing.
But I gotta think that it's somebody and she said
you don't gotta answer, bro.
Keep it to yourself.
No, you're good. Just giving you a hard time.
Personally, I gotta think that it's somebody in her office.
Somebody's office, yeah.
With everything that it looks politically motivated, there would be an off thing if this was the one not politically motivated action.
Yeah,
I don't think that it was the representative, and I don't think that it was Feinstein themselves.
Yeah, I don't think it, because Feinstein's too smart to do that.
Yeah, but I also could see her having a conversation with somebody and being like, I'm not going to do it, but if the shit was to be leaked, then everybody would be know about it. And look over, one of her works and be like,
you wouldn't put that past her?
But I'm not fucking. I wouldn't do that though. I would never do anything like that. But I do know that if it was out in the public, everybody would know, and then shit would be really crazy.
Mm-hmm. I have a feeling that she would have to be very, very desperate. I think to try to make that happen.
I think that she's obviously fucking desperate.
Yeah,
but that's just me.
I hate feeling like that's even a possibility, but it is what it is.
There it is.
We'll never know. Bum bum bum.
Yep. So he was confirmed. The FBI investigation is open. Don't know when the vote in the full Senate is going to be, and we're not sure exactly what's going to come from the FBI investigation.
But when we know, you'll know.
And you fucking bet your sweet technology ass that we're going to be talking about it next week.
I love it.
So,
with that,
you want to talk about mountain goats next?
I think we should definitely talk about mountain goats next.
I want to hear about the mountain goats.
Yeah, I think it would be good. We can do that, and then we can close out with some brief video game discussion, and then get us into some sports because I play Madden all the time, and then we can get the fuck out of here.
I think that sounds great.
Mountain goats? Feel comfortable with that?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
So, I think it was it that I went.
Yeah, so I will lead you in about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, thank you.
Do you guys want to light up one of these?
I mean, I'm not going to say no.
Go for it.
Do you?
All right, with me.
Yeah, when was it? That was last Wednesday night.
With people.
I think not last. 2 weeks
It
ago.
was, Wednesday night.
Okay, and so somebody, your work.
Somebody.
Yeah, your job where you work.
Yeah. My manager.
Yeah. How did you get this opportunity? We'll just say, how did you get this opportunity to go do this thing with mountain goats real quick?
So it was at the end of the day.
Because you work with animals, right?
Yeah, I'm a vet assistant.
She doesn't work just in an office building somewhere, and someone in the parking lot was like, hey, you want to fuck with some mountain goats? Yeah, no. She works with animals. She works in a veterinary clinic, just so people know that she's qualified.
Yes. Well, I work with small animals, meaning that I work with dogs, cats, and pocket pets.
Do you guys do lizards?
We do. Not as many. We have not seen lizards itself. I have seen one snake, one corn snake. And oh my gosh, she was so beautiful.
She was so beautiful.
I am in the right career for sure.
Yes, I can attest to that.
But it was at the very end of the day. It was I know, I love that lighter.
This lighter is hilarious.
They
Hold up
ID'd
people,
me for that
'cause that's-
lighter just because it said. People who are intrigued about the lighter, go check the YouTube
It's a
channel.
tiny
You will see
candle
it there.
That's so funny.
I'll take a picture.
Sorry.
Yes,
Anywho.
yes, do it. They ID'd me for that. Apparently, it's because it said cigarette lighter. It's like, no, I need to see your ID.
Because it's 4 cigarettes.
I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
thought that was America.
But I just wanted to use it for my candles.
That's
Yeah.
what you gotta
Carolina
do.
saying, "This is America."
Yeah. So, anyways, before we get too far down that rabbit hole,
No, I always go through my tangents.
yeah.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, so it was the end of the day on Wednesday, I think the 14th it was. And my manager says, hey, do you want to work with mountain goats tomorrow? And my immediate reaction was, yes, me, I go. Where? How? When? After I say yes, I'm like, what how? He's like, yeah, do you want to drive all the way to Port Angeles and deliver some like tedder ringers, which are...
Just for people who, sorry, not to interrupt you, but
No,
just
no,
for
go
people
ahead,
who
please.
don't live here, how far is Port Angeles from your house?
It's like about an hour... Yeah, a little bit over an hour.
Hour and
Yeah,
some
an hour and a
change.
half, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it took an hour because she left at night. But, I mean, if you go during the day and you get behind some traffic, you know how it is going out there. It could take an hour and a
Right.
half.
Over the
And we-
floating bridge. Just so
Indeed.
Exactly.
Bridge,
We
so
are
one
separated
knows.
by a bridge that actually opens up too, so it can take a little bit longer than...
You gotta wait.
Yeah.
If there's boats crossing.
And the reason why I had to go that night and not the following morning is because they were going to do maintenance on the bridge.
Oh.
And it was not going to be open until 6. And the people that take care of the goats and everything, the whole thing starts at 7 a.m. over there already.
Wow.
So I would not have reached
So you
it at
stayed the
all.
night over there?
Yes.
Nice.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I went over there on Wednesday
Offie all
night.
alone at home?
Yeah.
me and the pups, bro.
I didn't know you stayed the night here by yourself. I just knew that she wasn't here like
Oh, yeah.
at nighttime, but I
Yeah.
didn't know.
Well, what does that
I
mean?
tried to withhold as much information so
I don't
that
know.
all your
Come on.
guys' reactions would be natural and we could go through this as organic as possible.
Maybe that's
I
not
don't
as
know what I
absurd
would
to
do
some
with it.
other couples, but I don't remember the last time Donovan and I like actually spent a night. It's been years.
I do. I remember
full
exactly. I remember exactly when it was because
God.
it was a big deal.
Yeah.
You know, it's not okay. Super sappy husband time.
Yes.
It's not easy after a number of years of being with somebody for essentially, and especially in your guys' case, your whole lives, and then not ever having to spend any time apart, and then you dropping off the face of the planet essentially for 2 weeks.
Not cool.
It hit some people kind of hard, and I can understand that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I would like to think that I helped him power through. Although I don't think we had a real tight relationship at that point.
No, but we,
You were
we
there
stood
to chat
across from
with.
each other a
Yeah.
few times.
That's so funny.
But yeah, it was.
Never going to
like-
Florida.
I mean,
How you holding up, man? Fuck, Colin.
I mean, ever since I got
Not
out
doing
of
shit.
the military, for the most part, I don't think we've really spent more than a night away from each other, or even then, it's just not very often.
Yeah.
And so this was kind of a big thing that hasn't happened in a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the last time.
But
it
anything
happened-
for the goats.
Yeah.
Anything for the
For the
goats.
goats! Oh my god, I got to grab a tiny little baby
Oh my
goat. It was
gosh.
25.5 pounds. It was just, it was surreal.
Oh my God.
Do a little goat curl.
I was squat with a baby.
She works at the vet office. She remembers exactly like those weights.
Yeah, it was
Oh.
amazing.
25 and a half
We-
pounds with
So-
32 inches from nose to tail.
Yeah.
So
and
you
it-
get
it's-
essentially you get like the call to action.
Yeah,
You're like,
so-
hey, you want to do this?
So I am requested. Well, not requested. I'm asked if I could do it. Deliver the 2 cases of lactated ringers, which is we tend to do that for animals to kind of like keep them, feeling good. What's that word in English?
Like calm?
No, it's to sustained.
Oh, okay.
So when they are transported, they have to have subcutaneous fluids delivered to their body, so
Okay.
we can just do everything and anything that
Because
we
they're
have
not
to do.
drinking water.
Yeah.
Exactly. So lactated ringers, that's the purpose for them. And they were running out of them, and no clinic on the peninsula was able to deliver that to them by the
Oh
next
my
morning.
gosh. Yeah.
And Logan, I have to ask him if I can use his name.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Just don't use his last name. No one
Yeah.
knows. Don't tell us where he went to school at.
He's actually getting to be a wildlife veterinarian. He's
That's
studying
wild
that.
as fuck.
Yeah,
No pun
he's
intended.
amazing.
Yeah.
Good one.
I didn't mean to. That's just how I talk.
Yeah. And we'll reach out to him over this weekend. We'll see if we can blow up his Facebook feed on our stuff, because he tons of amazing pictures and little video
Nice.
clips.
Yeah.
And very, very
cool.
awesome
He was
on the ground info.
He completely inspired me, and I have another level of admiration to everything and anything that he's doing,
Shit.
and the way how he approaches things too. He is
Just
going to be an
life.
amazing veterinarian.
That's awesome.
Like-
And I'll tell you
Hands
after
down.
the cast, I think why that is. He said, I mean, if there's anybody that's going to have drive and passion for what they do built into them, it's him.
So mushrooms.
Well, good,
Does he
he's
do
doing
lots
that
of
job.
mushrooms?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Doing more of that?
Okay, they have their
No.
Some more times. You'll feel great.
So how long were you there? Was it just that night
So-
and that next day?
Yeah, so I went there on Wednesday.
I got questions, man. I'm interested in the goats.
So I called Colin because I have never in my life. I grew up in New York. I have always been sheltering that way of like, why would you venture yourself into out of your bubble? You are in a comfortable
Everything I
position.
have and I need is right here.
Yeah, don't need to expose yourself. You can crash and you can die, but you can die in your house falling off of a ladder or something.
Yeah.
Um,
Slipping in the bathroom dangerous as fuck.
Yes, exactly. Even if it is a tiny little shower, you can fall and just hit your head or something.
Super pregnancy fear right now is falling in the shower.
Well, she's
I'll be all
legitimately
that
afraid
too.
to fall in a shower. Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
I don't.
Anyway.
Anyway,
Yeah, we all completely understand that fear.
thank you.
I ate shit in the shower one time. I was in the shower and Jordyn was like,
I thought you just said you shit in the shower.
That's exactly
no,
what it
no.
I was
sounded like.
what? No.
No, I ate shit in the shower.
Got it.
Jordyn was like brushing her teeth or something while I was in the shower, and I like, she's fucking laughing. I like put my hands on. I mean, we're both tall as fuck, right?
Yeah.
And we live in a really small house. You've been there, so like the ceiling's all really low, and so I put my hands on like whatever
The shower curtain
Yeah, the
rod?
shower curtain.
Oh,
rod.
yeah.
And I just like looked over it. I didn't even think I was like putting any weight on it, but enough weight that it fucking fell, and I like fell out of the shower like with the shower curtain. Oh yeah, horrible. Naked as fuck, just like my whole 6'2" body just like tumbling
Oh
out of
my
the
God.
fucking shower. Yeah.
That was so funny.
It was
That
a
must have
whole
been
deal.
something.
He
So-
thought he was being so funny.
Yeah, like I've been doing it for a while, but I was like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. So, but I will just to try to continue this a little, try to push this
Yeah,
narrative
sorry
a
about
little
that.
forward. So it was about, you left the house about what, 9 o'clock or so, right?
Yeah.
And had to get all the way to Port Angeles in the middle of the night.
Yeah, first time ever me driving,
Yeah.
alone all the way up there. I have never experienced that. So
Yeah, I mean-
needless to say, I was nervous.
Yeah.
I
You
was
don't know where
excited.
you're staying
Yeah.
necessarily. I mean, you've
That's what I
heard
was
all
just
this
gonna ask
things.
was where you were.
Yeah.
where
I
you
didn't know at the
slept
time. I knew that there was a place where a couple of veterinarians and technicians and what's it called? My ex co-worker, because he used to work at the clinic before too. They were staying there. That's all I knew, and it was in this place in Port Angeles.
Yeah.
And I was delivering the LRSs, and that's all I knew at the moment. And that in the morning we had to wake up, leave the house by 6 a.m. so we can be over at Hurricane Ridge, which is in Port Angeles, right?
Which is beautiful.
Yeah.
as
It's
well.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Anyone that is visiting Washington should definitely go there. It's
hell of
just
trees here.
beautiful.
Lots of
So
trees.
many.
Yes, gorgeous views.
Yeah. And mountain goats, apparently.
Yes,
I
mountain
didn't even
goats,
know we had mountain goats here.
which
I had
are
no idea.
not. They do not belong there. People
Right.
back in the 1920s,
I
they
was
brought them
gonna say,
over there.
That was the whole
Fuckers.
point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They thought that
Pigs
it's a
in
goat.
California.
It's a mountain goat. Let's
Yeah.
go ahead and take him to the mountains. The
Right.
thing is that the mountain goats, they unbalance the flora. Not the flora,
Yeah,
but
they're
the
wrong
balance.
shit.
Exactly. So affecting the indigenous fauna that is in there. Okay,
Yeah.
you have to get out.
Actually, you just take my seat. You keep talking, girlfriend. before we have an accident on the podcast.
First ever pee pants until it got
I thought it was gonna be me. Yeah. So.
I thought it was gonna be a baby.
So,
passed out, right?
Yeah.
Right. Checking him off the list.
so I drive all the way over there. Colin, of course, he was such a huge support. I was like, nervous and things later. I was super nervous, amping myself up, blah, blah, blah. My manager even, she's like, no, you're a big girl. You can do it.
You got it.
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an adventure. You never know. when it's
Exactly.
gonna
And
be
like a once in a lifetime experience.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and that's what pumped me up. It was an experience and a half. I drove over there, got over there at about 10 p.m. or so.
Mhm.
Everyone
That's
was
not
already
bad.
asleep.
Of course.
Yeah.
They probably had a long day already.
Yes, because
Yeah.
they have been doing that for already 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
They started
Lots
it.
of prep work. Yeah.
Yes, they started very early in the month of September.
Mhm.
Big man back in the building.
We're back. And we're back.
They started very early in the month of September, and by the time that I got in there, they have already transported how many? 92 goats. total.
Shit.
Wow.
Yeah. So wild
a lot of
mountain
goats.
goats.
And where are they moving them to? Where are they putting them out?
Different areas, the Cascades mainly.
Sprinkling goats all over the place.
Yeah, they do belong in around that area. I know, they're so beautiful. So anyways, when I got over at the place that I ended up staying, it was an adventure and a half. The whole day, the whole situation, it was quite an adventure.
That was, yeah.
I got
can't
over
wait.
there.
It's a good story.
And so my friend didn't have a phone that I can text him to. And so I'm texting him on Facebook. And he's not answering because he's too busy.
Handling goats.
No, quite. It was at nighttime.
Better.
And he put a load in the laundry. And the washing machine flooded.
Oh no.
So I got into pretty much a pool. The laundry area was just a pool of water. So the adventure already started since
Right.
then.
How exciting.
Yeah, so, cleaning it up and everything. If I would have been there, he said, I would have just gone to bed and we would have just fallen out the pool of water in here.
Yeah.
And,
Ankle deep in water when you wake up.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God, beautiful, huh?
Lifesaver.
And we have to go in an hour, so.
Oh, gosh, it was quite something. So, we went to bed the next day, woke up, we left early in the morning.
Mhm.
I got to meet amazing people, amazing veterinarians in there. Dr. Brian, I remember his
Dr.
name.
Brian.
I know, something that immediately got me so happy about him is that he kept on calling my friend Young Skywalker.
Oh.
So he said that. I'm like, oh my heart.
You were all the same Padawans.
Yes. And I told him, well, I am Young Skywalker's Padawan. And he's like, we are all Padawans, if you
dig
think
that.
about it. I'm like, oh gosh.
That's
yeah.
deep. It's a lot. So what were the
That's a deep
veterinarians
cut.
there to do? Just to make sure that everybody was stable while they traveled, to make sure that they got set up right?
So the way how they transport the goats is that you have these people that have to sedate them with darts.
Yeah.
From the helicopter, they shoot them with darts.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. They dart them up.
Exactly. They dart the what's it called? The billies, which are the male goats.
What the
Yeah.
fuck?
They dart the billies and they dart the nannies.
What are you looking at?
I showed the picture of how they transport them.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
The harnesses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm going
Yeah.
up in the slings.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy as fuck.
Yeah,
So
it's pretty
then they
cool.
shoot
Tweet that
a
link
net.
out real quick. That's if you want to see this. The link. I'm sorry, not to
No,
interrupt.
you
you.
go
I
for
want
it.
people to see the fucking goats. That's wild as shit.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tweet it
Put it
out.
on
Yeah.
Twitter and tag Don on that too.
So say they sedate the goats.
So they dart the goats.
Shoot them and bag them.
Exactly. With this, I forgot the what's it called? The solution, the medication, the drug that they use to dart them is actually a fatal drug for us humans.
Oh.
Using
If-
fentanyl.
No. Is it fentanyl?
No, yes, I think it's that.
It's fentanyl.
I think it's.
Yikes.
I have to double check.
Fact check.
Yeah, fact check. They used that, and
Alright,
so
I'll
everyone
take
had
that
to
to my
wear
job.
gloves. Everyone had to wear gloves because it can be transdermal, and you can get on your skin and get into you if you have sore, if you have cuts, or
sounds
anything
about
like
right,
that.
It might
Yeah.
be fentanyl.
Yeah.
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 So
That's crazy.
they dart them with that, and then they shoot a net And then after they shoot the net, that's when they put the guards on the eyes to cover them because they get spooked.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's a lot.
Fucking
like,
flying in a helicopter, hell yeah.
Yeah, sensory-wise
Pretty
to take
badass.
in. Little goat heart attacks. You're like, all right, well, we transported 92, but 37 died from little goat heart attacks.
Yeah, right.
We overwhelmed the goats.
At the very beginning, I got to hear that 2 goats didn't make it at the very first trips.
Yeah.
I think it was the very first day.
They didn't drop him, did they?
No, it's because
would
it
be
can be
fucked
a
up.
little
It's
bit.
gonna shade like a shock and
traumatic.
separation
Yeah.
thing almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, you're trying to shoot darts, sedative, to a goat that is in the wild running because this random
Yeah.
flying thing is just coming close to them.
If something came flying in and wanted to sedate me with a dart, I would probably get
Well,
really confused.
yeah.
nervous,
And
too.
take in mind, like, these are mountain goats. I mean, half the time they're hanging on these insanely steep cliffs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they
So you don't
live
want
in
them to die.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
live in a very harsh environment where
Yeah.
if you just pass out or you get dizzy, like
That's
it could
it.
be fatal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to wait until they're in an opportune position to shoot them.
Yeah.
Because if they are on that cliff of that, or like on the face of that cliff, then they can fall off and just fucking die, and then
Yeah.
it's a waste.
It's
of everything.
counterproductive of the thing that you're trying
A lot
to
of
do.
money that just went out in that dart.
Right.
So they would just bring them. The helicopter would retrieve them. Then they would bring them over to an area that a truck would take care of them. Would bring billies and nannies and kids.
A nanny.
I know, that's how
That's
they call it. I love it. So they will bring them with the truck, and then you have every person ready to just grab and hold and help.
Grab a goat.
They had a 300-pound Billy.
Oh my god.
That is a ginormous goat.
He was the head goat.
That is an enormous goat.
Yeah.
He's the head goat. He's the
Yeah,
alpha.
that's an enormous man. That's an enormous goat. Like,
Yeah, a 300-pound man is a
That's-
big man.
that's a big boy.
So seeing all that, you have everyone ready to
You
just
imagine
tackle the
weighing 100 more
situation.
pounds than you do right now.
Nope.
We have to weigh him, and then after that, they take him over to the stations that they had in there for each goat, so we can assess how they are, health-wise, age-wise.
Yeah. Because ideally, if there was something they needed medically, you'd be able to like attend to it then too.
Exactly.
Right,
yeah.
Which a lot of them, some of them had to be euthanized because of some medical situations.
Sure. They weren't gonna make it anyway. It would be kind of cruel to.
Yes, possibly one of them, but the other two that I was actually I got to experience that they were kids, baby goats. They had to be euthanized
Not
because of
small
a
children?
possible infectious viral infection. What is it?
Yeah, viral
right,
infection
viral.
or an
Yeah.
infectious
Yeah.
disease.
Yeah.
Called ORF, which is also zoonotic, meaning that a human can get it too.
Oh, okay.
Which is lesions on the skin.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Like
a terrible.
And that was the baby
Oh.
that I grabbed.
It's like
Oh,
goat
sadness.
AIDS.
Huh?
Like goat AIDS.
It's kind of like, if
Not
you're going
quite,
to compare it, maybe
Just
kind of like
lesions?
leprosy almost.
Okay.
Almost, it kind of looks like that. So it starts like with the little sores. The nannies, the mamas, they
Yeah.
have their udders.
Yeah.
With
Oh,
sores
that's how
like
you
that
get
in
it?
there too.
Oh.
How do you? Can you cure it if you get it?
a person?
Or do you just die?
As a person, well, viruses they stayed on you,
Yeah.
and there's no cure for humans. There's
Like herpes, dormant there.
Yeah.
Not.
I have to look more
Yeah.
into that, and I can share a little bit more into
Yeah,
that.
let me know. 'cause
Yeah, I'll
that's
That's really
as
interesting.
fuck.
Yeah.
I'll send you some whatever I find. I'll send it to you on
Zoonotic.
your Twitter.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's a straight up classification for certain diseases.
Yeah.
Like the fucking
never
bird
heard-
flu and the swine
Yeah.
flu.
Never heard that
Yeah.
term before.
Like a lot of
That is
those different types of
crazy.
things. Yeah, they can train species. They can
Yeah.
they can work
Yeah.
with different species.
Like rabies. Rabies is zoonotic.
Yep.
There you
Vaccinate
go.
every animal. Yesterday was rabies.
Rabies Awareness Day.
Yeah, rabies vaccine awareness day.
Penny's got all
Anyways.
them shots.
Boom.
Vaccinize your
Yeah.
everything.
It's kind of like
Vaccinize.
the Price
Vaccinate.
is Right.
Even your
except for
babies.
vaccinations.
Do it. If our kid gets smallpox because
Straight
you're
up.
an ignorant ass.
Vaccinated.
Vaccines. There's a reason why vaccines are have been created, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Even for
Thank
animals.
Thank you. I don't know if we ever talked about that, but we will one day. 'Cause I've got
Yes.
an awful lot to say about
I would
vaccinating
love
children.
to.
Especially as like future, parents now
Yes.
that we have a leg
Exactly.
to stand on.
I cared a lot about that before I got my wife pregnant. And now that we're having a baby, I couldn't possibly care anymore about fucking vaccinating
Yeah.
children.
We're like anti-vaxxers.
That's right.
I'm very anti-vaxxer.
Don't.
I don't. No.
That's so funny. So, I lost it.
That's okay. We
I'm
were
so
talking
sorry.
about kind of how and why
Oh yeah, they
the transportation
euthanized.
works
Oh
there.
yeah, so we whenever they put them on the tables and all of that, the doctors attend to. We are giving them subcutaneous fluids, a whole liter of a bag itself
Wow.
for the big
So
guys.
they land and they pee and they're like, all right, this is where I live. Like, this
It's
is where
just
I pee.
to sustain them and all
Yeah.
of that. We're not. They were not aiming on like having them. If there's something that was wrong with the goat, you had to think on the big picture.
Yeah.
You have limited crates that you can transport the goats into, and for example, the ORF viral disease. If we were to have put, it's because that's where we saw it.
Starts on their nose. That's what she was saying.
Oh, right.
Starts
because
on their nose.
it's-
Yeah. The babies.
That's how we saw it on the babies. They had the sores. One
Yeah.
of them, the bigger baby, had more pronounced sores.
Yeah.
That's sad.
It could have been ORF. We don't know. So what we did after we euthanized them, the doctors euthanized them. They had to be done a necropsy. A necropsy is pretty much an autopsy.
Yeah.
And that's something. It's sad, but I took it in a very educational way because
Yeah.
I am
Right.
going to become, Godspeed, I'm going to become a veterinarian technician someday, and anatomy of an animal fascinates me.
Yeah.
So I took that as a very educational moment.
Well, that's
and-
that particular necropsy is going
Exactly.
to be a super rare
Yeah.
possibility.
Exactly.
So.
How many people on the face of the planet have witnessed what you witnessed
Yeah.
firsthand?
Who aren't hunters?
Yeah.
But I mean, even that. I mean, this is an infant.
Right.
There's a whole
Yeah.
Right. No,
there's
that's
a whole
correct,
level
yeah.
of anatomy that area that we probably know very, very little about.
I got
Yeah.
to see this
that's correct.
lymph node that appears only on babies and it goes away when they're mature. It's called the thymus. It's in the chest
Thymus?
area.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think
It-
that's the sweetbreads gland that we eat in pigs.
Oh my gosh.
The thalamus, maybe. Either way, I don't know what I'm talking about, but I know
Might
it's
be correct.
You're like, but
That could be
we
interesting.
can eat them.
So
You get to it soon enough.
I got to experience that. Deers came by when we were doing the necropsy too. Birds. There are some birds. Gray
A hell of
jays, I
birds
think
up
they're
here.
called. And they are so aggressive in the sense of like they want to get whatever you're eating, whatever you're doing. They want to be there. They want
It's
to steal
theirs.
whatever you have.
Really.
And they kept on trying to grab the fat off of the
That's
pieces.
fucked up.
Yeah, they tried
right?
to like kept on like going.
Like, you think
at
about how
the
many trees we
pieces.
have. There's how many freaking types of
Hell
trees are we
of
gonna
birds.
have out there?
Yeah, and they don't all just eat seeds.
No.
Some of them are
No.
carnivores that scavenge, and
Yeah.
they're out there like picking on
Yeah.
this thing
That's
right in
crazy.
front of you. It's like,
Well, and you
whoa.
probably don't think of that. Like when you're going to set up to do that whole thing, you're not thinking about like, all right, like what predatory animals are going to come in and try and
Exactly.
like disrupt our operation. Like you have to consider all of your factors.
You
because
had
it's whole
the
thing.
park
But-
rangers in there with
Yeah.
guns too,
but
carrying
birds coming
guns.
down,
Just in
like
case.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Super
Yeah.
heavy
Yeah.
lines and
Right.
shit,
Exactly,
yeah.
because mountain lions and bears, they can smell everything from
Super
miles
far,
away.
Yeah.
And
Wow. So there's an element of danger to what you're doing, besides the orf that you might get from suckling on the teat of a mother goat.
and you think about that aspect because a lot of people would just jump to the fact that like, oh well, that's cruel. You're just gonna, how do you know it's gonna spread, whatever, and you're just gonna kill this thing.
that's why. Yeah.
Well,
I gotta imagine.
yeah, but I mean,
knowledge.
you
preventative
can't.
measure.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't take when you're trying to transplant a population. Because from the articles that I read around this, it sounds like essentially they're taking this invasive species up here that isn't native to here, and they're trying to introduce it over to the native population over in the Cascades, especially because that species apparently is having a really hard time sustaining its numbers. So we're trying to boost the population, and the very last thing I think they would want to do is take the slightest chance of of introducing a new bacterial infection or some,
Right.
you know,
Or-
it's the last thing you want to do when you're trying to supplement a population.
I would imagine it's possible that existing, right, so we'll call the ones that are in the right place herd A, right, and then herd B is what's being transplanted. I would imagine that herd A could also probably smell or tell with whatever type of goat sense that there's something fucked up in herd B, you know, with the ORF that's going on. They're like, these guys cannot kick it with us.
Right,
Like,
they're
they
not
have
from
to-
Yeah, I
here.
wouldn't doubt it,
something
yeah.
They got to be
fishy.
their own herd doing their own thing.
Right.
Like I could imagine. I don't know if that's
Goat
I'm obviously
tribalism.
uneducated on mountain goats, but we're just with the way
The way
that
animals are.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd think, yeah.
Because my
The
emotions.
main, the main reason why we, they had to be put down and all that is because the crates would be contaminated for the
Oh,
next baby.
yeah.
For the reuse,
That
yeah.
food, exactly.
I mean, yeah, it's a very practical matter too.
Yeah,
I was
so
gonna
you
say,
have
if
to
you think about it from like a budget standpoint, you've already messed it up once by bringing an invasive species to a place that it shouldn't be. You're
Yeah.
having to spend
Yeah.
money to bring it back to where it should. What's the next project gonna be? Like
Yeah.
And this is going
when you
to
find
be,
out you brought sick ones back.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And this is a what's it called? A project that they I believe I read that they're going to try to do it for next year and the following year, 2020. And I already volunteer over at the clinic that
You're like,
I
I'm
want
in.
to do this again
Good call.
because it's
Yeah.
such an experience. And
Yeah,
how-
that's amazing.
That's a really cool
Yeah.
thing, man. The fact that you would spend the money and take the effort to be like, you know what, we can kill two birds with one stone here. Because this is all publicly funded and run through volunteers, and so volunteers,
now
and I
know.
think pro bono stuff
almost
as
200
well. but-
volunteers.
Yeah,
Almost.
I mean it's insane the amount of effort that people are putting up to kind of make things right.
Right.
You know, and the last thing you want to do is just, I mean, what are you going to do? If you keep them here, they're going to devastate the rest of the ecosystem
Right.
and make unknown changes.
Yeah.
You know,
We're trying
the
to
butterfly effect.
We're trying to fix the damage that we have created.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's kind of the reassuring thing for me, just that it was like all volunteers, is because
Yeah.
I think you
Yeah.
could easily have a bunch of people that are like, well, that's just wrong and that's cruel, and like you said, like that taboo around like having to put down those baby
Yeah.
goats. You know, it was all people who like dedicated their own time to be there, like for no dollars,
Yeah.
for no like they have an
Right.
agenda.
Yeah.
Like they're genuinely there to make sure the animals are okay.
'Cause they actually give a
Because
shit.
there's people like your wife who want to go and make sure the baby goats are chill. Like
Yeah, exactly.
And you have to be realistic and see the big picture, the bigger picture, and transporting all of this is going to make much better for the goats itself, the population of the goats, and also the place, the what's it called, the hurricane rich area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
balance it back out.
Exactly.
It'll be interesting to see like what other effect it's going to have on the ecosystem up there
Yeah.
now that they're being
Yeah.
removed. Like what's going to flourish now, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows? But I think hopefully it's all good.
Random
Right.
I would
fact.
imagine, yeah.
Random fact.
We
The
love
hooves
those.
are so sharp.
They're so
Hooves on a
sharp.
goat?
They are.
I would, to like to have some to grip, I would think,
Yeah.
you know,
Yes.
to
Wedge in
the
tiny
to the
little
mountain.
places.
Yeah.
Yeah. They open. It's so fascinating. It's so,
I think in the latest Planet Earth, David Attenborough talked about mountain goats
love
on one of their
Planet
segments, and I can't remember which one it is now, but it's got to be one of the newer ones. And I'm pretty sure David Attenborough talks about them having like special hooves so that they can grab onto this rock. I mean, they live in the rock, man. It's
And you don't think of a hoof grabbing onto something.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
and the balance and coordination that goes with that. I mean, these things are agile
It's
as hell.
amazing.
Fascinating creatures.
So it's really cool you got to do that.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I, as you may have noticed, and I think that people notice on my voice that I just keep on going and going. I get super excited with that. It was.
Well, you should
It
be.
was
It's a
Yeah.
passion for
Awesome.
sure.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Thank you.
It's very
That's
understated,
really
I
cool.
think. I mean, it's an amazing adventure and an amazing experience that you got to experience, and I'm so proud
Are
of
you
you.
super impressed with your wife?
I mean, dude, I'm so in admiration because that's amazing.
Colin's like, I walk through the woods by myself all day. Your job is a little bit cooler.
It just blows my mind.
Yeah, that's
love it.
rad.
Yeah, I was just say I found a stat in one of the, I think the article that I tweeted out from the Sun. Between the years of 2004 and 2016, the goat population in the Olympic Park more than doubled to 625.
She's trying hard, Toby.
Yeah, she's got a bone.
Oh, she's got a bone.
Yeah.
But even today, there's now about 725 of these goats in the mountains, and
Just kicking it.
Hella goats.
so they have
Hell it goes.
there are tons of. And I will say, just from a personal experience, going up to the Olympics, where it's kind of like it's a big hotbed for backpacking and camping and hiking.
Right.
Well, and as that becomes a bigger thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's warning signs out there.
Goats can be dangerous.
They can.
They
I mean,
are.
they're big.
Especially with the big old fucking rammers.
They
Yeah,
have
man.
ginormous horns,
Yeah.
and they're
Yeah.
super sharp too.
Do you know something funny? Shout out to my dad. He is terrified of
Oh
goats.
my god.
No.
Terrified of
Terrified of
goats.
goats.
Doesn't trust them. Something about he's like they have hooves and like a tail, like everything. Like when
The
you get a
eyes.
depiction of the devil, like he's
Yeah.
somewhat goatish,
Yeah.
and he's like,
He-
"There's a reason for that."
He needs to watch the movie The Witch
Yeah.
because of that
Oh.
goat.
Oh, that
Probably
super
would too.
scary movie.
That would
Yeah.
fuck with him. Great film.
That was the first.
Great film.
That was the first
movie
Offie
that-
recommended movie we watched, and I'm like, when we were done, I'm like, all right, no movie recommendations from Offie.
No, I don't even get a 3 strikes rule. Dang.
I definitely gave you more chances than
That's
that.
so funny.
Did you ever watch Bone
It was
Tomahawk?
terrifying. And I was
No, I
like,
haven't watched
Okay.
Bone Tomahawk because I haven't watched it by myself probably.
Yes.
I don't know that she would
That
watch
movie is
that.
I don't
dark.
do war movies super well.
No, Bone Tomahawk isn't a war movie.
No, it's a horror movie.
Yeah, no, it's just
It's a horror
just
movie
okay.
based in the
Oh,
like the Wild West.
Exactly. That's what I would probably.
There
have
is
watched
a
vulgar.
myself.
There's a part that just thinking of it
Yeah.
just makes me hurt.
There's
And I'm
some,
a girl, and
some of
then
the
I
most
got
disturbing scenes.
yes, that happened to a man, and me as a
Whoa.
woman, it hurts me.
I don't even
We
want
just
to think about
watched-
it.
We just watched fucking.
So this is for the video podcast only, but just
yeah.
think about that.
no.
Yeah.
No,
Don't think about it.
Whoa. Whoa.
don't.
We just watched American Horror Story Cult.
Oh my God.
And like that,
Is it good?
that show itself is really fucked up, but that particular season, there's a lot of really dark shit that happens.
I think it's more disturbing that season, Cole. I think it was like season 7
6 or
or something.
7,
I think
yeah.
it's 7, and they're on 8 now.
So
but
it was the latest, right? But it
and
was
there's
the
one on
last
TV
season.
now. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's now available on Netflix because the new one is on TV. So-
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think it's more disturbing because it's set in like what's going on right now. It's about like the political parties essentially and like things that happen to people like when
In
Trump
Cult?
became president.
Really
Yeah.
good.
Dude,
Yo.
super have to
It's
watch it. The
really
whole
good.
time you're like, like
Yeah.
did that just happen?
I will say, I had a hard time watching that show for a while. I love that. But I've seen. How many seasons have I seen? I've seen most. I think of Freak
Are they just-
Show.
Do you watch Freak Show with me?
Yeah, we watched it. I
Freak Show
remember.
is very like okay.
That was my last one.
Okay, yeah, but
I
and
watched
then
all
we,
of them up to
yeah,
that.
and I didn't watch the Witches one, but we need to watch the Witches one.
That one was
That's
good.
awesome.
Because I heard
Coven
that-
is the
good.
best.
I love
because the
Coven.
new one
Yeah.
is like the sequel to Coven.
That's I've
ties in.
heard so many
Yeah.
times like this one wraps everything together, and I'm like, whatever.
Right.
So many
Yeah.
seasons.
I don't care. If,
Whatever
like,
you
if the
say, as
show-
long as it's good and Sarah Paulson is in it.
I
Like,
don't care that they were all about different stuff. You know, like that's fine as long as the shit's good. I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't.
As long as I have a good plot.
I didn't fuck with the hotel one, and I didn't fuck with the circus one. But like pretty much all those other ones, I really got down on.
the
Yeah.
hotel one made me fall in love with Lady Gaga, and now I'll follow her anywhere.
And I don't like Lady Gaga. I think she's a
Me neither.
shitty actress. I think Lady Gaga.
Apparently
is
she's
shitty
in.
acting.
This is very pop culture-y, and this is like way. I'm going to tell you guys are way off subject now, but
We're just gonna
A
sneak
Star is
in pop
Born. I
culture today.
super want to see that. I super duper want to see that.
We'll watch Bradley Cooper.
Cooper directed it, and like it's his directorial.
I love
debut.
Bradley Cooper.
Which one?
What?
A Star
the
is
new one?
Born. Yeah.
A Star is Born.
Yeah.
They're singers.
With Lady Gaga, yeah, it's a movie. It's
Bradley
been made in like the
I've heard good
1950s
things
and again in
about
the 1970s, and now it's being remade in 2018 or whatever. So it's supposed to be really freaking good. But
I've heard
Okay.
good things about that.
I like
yeah.
Bradley Cooper, so we can go see Bradley Cooper when we go to the movies. I know Jordyn used to make fun of me for this. We go up to the window, and like if we're seeing a movie that has Mark Wahlberg in it, you know, like, yo, let me get 2 tickets for Mark Wahlberg. Like that's how I like order my movie tickets.
Yeah.
You know? Like
not like
You're
Let me-
going
we're
let me-
seeing
let me get-
Nightcrawler, and he's like, "Let me get 2 for Jake Gyllenhaal." We're like,
you know what's up? You
They
know why
already
I'm
know
here.
what they're talking
like,
about, yeah.
You know why I'm here. So
I more don't like that the people at the ticket counter indulge him. That's my issue.
Like, yo, let me get 2 tickets to Ryan Reynolds. All right, 2 for Deadpool. I'm like, thank you, dog. Like, you know what's up. Like, so,
I didn't know that about you, but it fits your personality.
For all
And
ways.
it's not.
It
I
totally
can see
works.
that.
It has not ever been something that is like conscious, like because like I said, that's why I'm there. Like I'm there to see that movie because that person is in it. You know, I love Jake Gyllenhaal. We were just there. We went to see Nightcrawler. I was like, Nightcrawler looks good, and it had Jake Gyllenhaal in it, so that's why I'm here.
Win-win.
Like, don't fuck with me. That's why I'm here.
It is a fantastic
So,
movie, by the
You
way.
love
you
you
some
some Jake
Jake
let me
Gyllenhaal.
get two for Jake
We own
Gyllenhaal.
it, so
Batman,
bring it.
let me get two for Ben Affleck. Like, as hard as it was to say, it felt much better to say, let me get two for Christian Bale. You know, that's great. I like that. Let me get two for Ben Affleck. Hurts to tell somebody.
For one
you know?
movie?
Yeah.
Fucking Batman. Terrible. Let me get two for Ben Affleck.
I mean, I would probably feel
Horrible.
bad saying either things. I mean, the new Batman. Hey, let me get 2 tickets to new Batman. Ooh, that hurts my soul just saying that too.
Yeah.
There's no good way to do that.
That's why you get them online.
Fandango that shit in secret. Like, I don't want
I don't
anybody to
even
know
wanna talk about it.
this movie.
Yeah.
I ain't going to that ticket counter.
That's
I don't
I
want the
know
world to
people
know
up
what
there.
I'm seeing right now.
So Logan is. Let me get two for Hugh Jackman. You know what I'm saying? Love it.
Well, see, that
Yeah.
totally makes sense because I really like that movie.
God, that was a great movie.
Yeah.
I watched it the other day.
This is like a perfect segue to jump into our next
Do you?
topic.
Video games?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think
What?
if they remake Wolverine, do you think?
Do you think Harry Potter is going to be a good Wolverine?
No. No. No.
You know that they are looking
No.
at Harry Potter for
Daniel
Wolverine.
Radcliffe.
I
No, he's
fucking
not the
quit.
I
stature.
swear to
you
God.
I
know?
quit everything.
No.
I quit. I give up.
He has
I
to.
totally
Life is
give up.
over.
He is short, right? But he has got to put on 50 pounds of mass if he's going to be Wolverine.
I can see that. I mean,
gotta
he's already hairy.
But he's got to be enormous if he's going to be Wolverine. Hugh Jackman is fucking enormous.
Yeah.
And the only reason people accepted that he's tall is because he was enormous.
fucking
And,
shit.
And he
is-
had the perfect haircut.
Yeah.
He
and
pulled
that's
off
exactly
the facial
what Daniel
hair
Radcliffe has to
haircut
be.
combo.
He can't be the same size that he is in Harry Potter
He's-
and be fucking Wolverine, you know?
He's a great actor.
believe you.
He can,
He is a good actor.
yeah.
I'm just gonna say-
But looks wise,
I don't think you can afford the amount of CGI to get me on board with that.
It would be a tough sell.
It's
I
all
don't
CGI.
know.
But you never
Sorry,
know.
a lot of
I don't know
protein,
him
that kid.
being, I don't know him being able to be aggressive enough.
Yeah.
As like.
Yeah, like the Berserker
Yeah.
rage. dude.
But I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, you know?
God damn it, I love you.
If he does that, and like he could surprise me. The only thing I ever known him in is fucking Harry Potter, and so
and
Which is, he's been in so many other things.
Yeah, I know in a lot
It's
of
totally
movies.
our own fault that we only know him as Harry Potter.
that's true.
Yeah. I've seen a couple of different movies with him in it, and they've all been really weird. They've all been super weird, like indie movies that he's been in. Which is maybe because he's been typecast as Harry Potter, so he might have a hard time getting like a big
He's
studio
14
deal.
forever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It might be
But-
kind of similar to the Johnny Depp situation. You know, Johnny Depp really his only real big mainstream thing was like Pirates.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
You know, and
because
he-
he's so weird.
And he doesn't like that. Like he
He did it
likes
so fantastic.
indie movies.
Yeah.
You know, like he did this
He
thing.
played it too well to not be famous for
Yeah.
it. And then did like 4 movies, in all fairness. He came back for the money several times.
Oh yeah, no, he
Charlie's
definitely is.
Factory.
Ooh,
But,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, we could talk about
I was
that's a
gonna say
whole
we
other
could talk about him
conversation.
all day.
But I mean, like
He was crazy weird in that movie.
I've always heard that he likes to do independent films, like good, just random movies. You know, he's not a big box office franchise Hollywood
Right.
guy. You know, from what
Johnny
I understand. Yeah, because I mean, and then you look at him. There's a reason that he was the perfect Jack Sparrow, because he is that way. I mean, he's very artsy. He's kind of flamboyant a lot of
Eccentric,
times.
yeah.
Very, yeah, he's just very.
Drinks
he's
all the time.
yeah, I mean, he's like
Says
an
some
edgy.
off the wall shit.
Yeah, he's an edgy
I'm
artist.
sure he's crazy.
You know what I mean? Well, I mean, so it makes sense to me. Why are we talking about Johnny Depp again? Oh yeah, Wolverine.
Movies.
That's right.
Rabbit hole.
I hope.
All these have been made into video games,
This
so
is
it's
true.
fine.
This is all relevant.
So
So
Heart has most. of these
Spider-Man.
things.
Spider-Man is what I want to talk about because
So the Spider-Man that just came out is the Spider-Man that came out like a remake of the one that came out on PlayStation, or is there also a new Spider-Man game that came out?
I think this is a new one.
Okay.
Yeah, I think everything
I just-
narrative-wise, right?
Yeah. So I just started it. I'm just 3% into the game.
I love games that do that. I love when it tells you how far to go
Yes.
into the game.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part.
GTA style.
Yeah.
You get to see like the original what's it called, antagonists, the original bad guys per se.
Yo, should we
see
spoiler alert
Kingpin.
real quick?
I mean, people should know now.
Okay.
Yeah. You don't know
I
what's
mean,
something
the
funny.
internet is out there, and I'm sure that
Good.
We've all seen screenshots.
Yeah,
of
and
our
the
gameplay. We know
story
what's
of the
up.
video game doesn't matter because you're not doing it. You're doing it to play it. So
Well, I'm doing it to play through the amazing
It's not
narrative
like a-
storyline.
And
she's not gonna
much.
ruin it.
I'm just 3% into that, and I just know about all
She
this.
doesn't know shit anyway.
This is true.
Exactly, I don't know shit yet.
And I'm not somebody that like. I don't even fuck with spoilers like that. I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't care about that.
it's our podcast. Say what the fuck we want.
Exactly. If I want to know something, if I think it's that important where I'm like worried about spoilers, I'll get it and consume it as soon as I possibly can, so that because I want to know how this thing goes. And
Exactly.
like, if I am willing to kick back for a few weeks and not get it or not watch it or whatever, bro, I'm down. I'm still down for the ride.
Yeah.
So I don't understand the spoiler alert people, but I figured I'd throw it out there as a cautionary
you.
tale. But I don't agree with it.
So Spider-Man Kingpin.
So Kingpin.
Yeah, Kingpin is in there.
Nice.
It's pretty awesome. You have that back and forth of Spidey and Kingpin
Yeah.
and Willie, as he calls him.
Yeah.
You have Rhino, eventually he appears in there.
Word.
You work with Dr. Octopus before he becomes that.
Octavius or whatever.
Octavius, yes.
Oh, Chloe.
Chloe's playing with her toy.
Hyped right now.
What's it called? Scorpion is in there. It's a lot of
3%.
the.
You already seen all these guys?
I have not seen them
Oh,
yet.
you just know that they're in
But
there.
I know
okay.
that they're there. 'cause my brother
Expecting them.
finished the game
Yeah.
already.
Who was the boss you were fighting the other day? Was that Kingpin?
Yeah.
See,
That's dope.
Yeah.
I'm kind of worried. Do I need to know? I mean, am I going to be kind of like blown aback and I don't know who these people are?
You
Is there
should
gonna be
watch the
some-
show, The Amazing Spider-Man. You would know all of them.
Okay. But I mean, if I was just to jump into
Wink,
this,
wink.
just a normal dude that just I've seen the Marvel movies. Is it?
Don't
Am
get
I?
on
Is
the
it still
bandwagon,
going to
Colin.
be? I mean, this is still going to be a good experience for me, not
For
knowing
sure.
the.
Yeah, of course.
Fucking
But it's,
Spider-Man.
yeah, it's,
I love Spider-Man now. The new Spider-Man? Fuck, I'm on board.
Just as long as you don't walk around telling people, yeah, they came up with all these new bad guys for the video games, because people will make fun of you. But you'll still have fun playing it.
I think Rhino can't be real, right?
Chloe.
Rhino can't be a real life Spider-Man hero or villain.
didn't they show him? No, right?
I don't know. See, I don't know anything
What
about
is
Spider-Man, but I do remember. Did any of you guys play like the old school original Ninja Turtles
Like
video
on
game?
like on
Watch the show.
Like Super
Nintendo?
Nintendo?
Yeah, they had that boss. Like one of your first boss was this Rhino guy.
Yeah.
That's the only Rhino.
Oh, yeah.
So like you told me Rhino, I was like, I don't know any Rhino, and I just pictured this guy from Mutant Ninja Turtles, the video game. I was like, what if he's like that now?
That was the first game system that me and my sister had was a Super Nintendo. Because I mean, we didn't have no fucking money, so we had some old ass video game system, and I had Ninja Turtles, like Turtles in Time, and so you like went through different time periods and shit too, like
That's
different
dope.
dimensions. Yeah, and I was like, I had the old Ninja Turtles like VHSs that I watched when I was a kid. So
Me
yeah,
too.
so I had like the legit like.
Ninja Turtles 3, when they went back in time
Oh my
to
god!
the samurai age.
Yes, to feudal Japan. That
That
shit's
was
crazy.
so
as fuck.
awesome.
Yeah, I had the cartoon ones too. I had the cartoon
Ooh.
Ninja Turtles too, like the old shit. Yeah.
Did you
Real
happen to
stuff
see
I
the live action, the original Mutant Ninja Turtles movies? Those the live action ones.
I want to say I have
Awesome
seen.
costumes.
The
Yes.
first one was the best.
I've seen.
The first one is dope.
Yeah, I have seen the first one. I
Shredder.
have seen the second
Yeah.
one, but
The third one, they go back in time to feudal Japan and the samurai.
The second
yeah, I
one.
watched that one.
Yeah,
That was
The second one
years
was
ago.
with the ooze.
The ooze.
Yeah, and they had the turtle and the dog. that-
Yeah.
that they turned into fucking.
Like a mutant.
Yeah, I
Maybe
don't
we
remember what
should
their
rewatch
names
this.
were.
But none of those guys exist in Spider-Man.
I'm gonna let you guys keep talking video games. I'm gonna go eat some chicken pot pie.
Okay.
Hey.
If
You know
anyone
what?
needs anything from me.
That sounds
You
amazing.
can come back when you're ready. So that's what you've been playing lately, Spider-Man?
Yeah, I've been playing Spider-Man. I have been trying to catch up again on God of War.
Yeah.
Because
You haven't finished that yet?
I did finish it, but my PlayStation decided to die on me and crap on us pretty much. And Colin actually saved it. So all the things that I had in there completely erased.
By all
I
the
had
saves
my
and
amazing
everything.
armor and all that, and everything was completely erased.
So you
So
restarted?
yeah, but at least I know certain things that I didn't know when I first played it.
You know the tricks, so you can get through some shit quicker.
Exactly.
That's a true video gamer right there. To be like, I need to do this again to get all these achievements
Yes.
back and like get all the shit that I can.
Well, that
Yes.
and I
And
think
now do it quicker.
there was an update they put out that you could get, and it would allow you to replay the game, but starting with like your same shit.
That's
So
always
like you just continue
that's the
to
best.
grow again.
Like
and
Fallout
keep-
4.
Yeah,
Fallout 4 was like that, and that was great.
yeah. Because you can complete every single quest in those games, and then just still keep playing. There's
Also-
always random shit you can do.
The Last of Us. The Last of Us is like that. That you have fucking like 2, 4, 6, I don't know, like 8 or 9 different weapons, and it's impossible to upgrade them all the way through the first time playing it. But if you just start over afterwards, then you get to start again. And when you find the weapons throughout the game, then they're upgraded to wherever they
Yeah.
were at when you finished.
That's
And
pretty dope.
You can do that. Like, so I've played 3 or 4 times, and they're finally starting to get to like really
What game?
peak. The Last of Us.
Ah.
Yeah.
You played 3 or 4 times.
I think I've probably played it through 3 times already.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
That's
And,
amazing.
it's still that's might be my favorite video game ever.
That's another AAA game that I want to get.
It's fucking
I, r-
fantastic.
I really want to play that one.
Absolutely.
I think that's going to go down as one of the greats in history,
yes.
just from everything I've heard about. And then they got number 2 coming out soonish, I think.
Yes, and it looks nasty.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, I watched probably 12 minutes of gameplay that they had at whatever fucking game convention.
E3 or whatever?
Yeah. So I watched, I think, 12 minutes of gameplay, and it looks fucking crazy. But
Well, another game I think that was debuted, I don't know if it debuted or whatever, but they showed more gameplay during E3 was the new Call of Duty Black Ops 4.
yeah, you said it was trash, right?
Yeah, it's really interesting.
I got the beta
Yeah.
on PlayStation. I tried playing it, and it's literally Fortnite combined with PUBG combined with Call of Duty techniques. That's
Yeah.
it.
With a mix of techniques in there,
Well,
what I
It's-
hear.
And you know how I feel like
It's not my style.
I have played Call of Duty for so long that I'm fucking past it. You know, like I'm on other shit. Like I would rather play fucking Battlefield or
Yeah.
like some other shit that is like a little more realistic and isn't so
Yes.
crazy. And when you started running on walls and flying and stuff, I'm like, all right, I'm out on this. Like,
Yeah.
like I liked Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2. You know, when you're just in the desert and it's like some real shit. And let me play this game, Rust. You know, some shit like that. Like,
Ooh.
so.
Nice.
Something I always appreciated from all of the Call of Duty's games is the campaign. I am a big
Yes.
campaign junkie.
Yes.
And this upcoming Call of Duty does not have a campaign.
No campaign at all?
No.
What's the goddamn point then?
Because they're trying
It's all
to cash in on
multiplayer.
that fucking the Fortnite money, man.
That's
That,
dumb.
that player royale
Because, yeah.
money.
Fucking selling out.
Yeah.
How big Fortnite is now.
Fucking selling
It's
out.
even bigger than PUBG now. And PUBG was the one that inspired it.
That's why PUBG jumped to Xbox. You can play PUBG on Xbox now, not just on the
Yeah.
computer.
And on your tablets.
Yeah.
I mean, you can play it anywhere now. They
Fortnite
have-
on your phone, yeah.
Yeah, they realize that, hey, we have this amazing thing, and if we make it cross-platform, across the board, we can increase revenue like 10 times over, probably.
Yeah.
Because now you're getting it wherever people play video games. It's that addicting. I'm not a big fan of the Fortnite world, but
No, I've not played it.
we
I've
do
watched a
know
couple
somebody
people
that
play it.
is a professional gamer now.
Yeah.
That actually makes money.
Has made,
Yeah,
And
like
it's-
thousands of dollars
yeah, thousands, literally.
playing in
Wow.
tournaments, yeah.
It's a boyfriend of a friend of mine. Shout out to my girl. She knows who she is. And her husband, her boyfriend, he's an amazing and very avid player.
Yeah.
He went over to PAX. He got to be on the top 7, I think it was.
Shit.
Pretty much in the top 10 of the Fortnite gamers in there.
Out of how many? Do you remember it was like
100.
100?
Yeah, if not a little bit more than that. I cannot quite recall. But yeah, he made pretty much, I believe, 12 grand. And
Shit.
then he just made 15 grand not too long ago. And he applied to be able to win about $1 million.
I wish I was that
It's pretty
good
awesome.
at playing video games.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like moderate, you know? Like, I'm pretty alright. Like, I don't go on and usually embarrass myself.
Not like me when I play Call of Duty.
There are sometimes when I go on there and I get my ass beat, I'm like, I'm just not supposed to be playing right now. Like, I should be doing something else because like, I'm not even.
The world telling you.
When I go onto Rainbow Six and I go through a whole round with not one fucking kill, I'm like, I shouldn't be doing this. Like, I'm like, I need to either play Madden, and if I come in here and throw 2 picks, then I really shouldn't be playing. Like, there's got to be something else I should be doing because the world is not happy about this.
Oh my god. That's hilarious.
That's when I change games.
No, I'm just not a huge. I don't know.
Competitive.
I'm resistant to Fortnite.
Yeah, I tried it a few times and I sucked at it.
All popular things because I'm a fucking douche probably.
Well, I don't know. There's at least for me, like, because I got into this game a while back called League of Legends.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And there's that whole Dota world, Dota 2, League of Legends. There's a whole bunch of different versions of it now. But I mean, people that get into those games, I mean, those things that is a competitive field.
Yeah.
I mean, there's almost nobody that plays those games for fun. Like, there's no leisure players there. I mean, that's a serious game that people are very serious about. And I don't, at least with the competition side like that, like, most of the time, I guess I'm not looking for that kind of, like, hardcore, like, competitive.
Trying to chill.
Yeah. I just want to play some fucking video games, bro. I want to play some Skyrim, roll around, just hanging out.
Rainbow Six can be like that you can kick people out of your party in Rainbow Six, like off your team, and then you just get kicked from the game. And so if you're just not doing well, like, people just kick you out, and, like, that's shitty,
like, bro, you're dead weight. You're gone.
I'm just trying to smoke a little bit of weed and play some video games and, like, just chill and, like, relax and decarb from, like, all my whole day,
Yeah.
And these fucking little 12-year-old kids that are getting furious that they're dying just can't stand to have me in their team, It's just irritating as shit.
Dude, we're never going to go pro with this guy around. He's making us look bad.
Right.
Drop his ass.
Yeah.
I will say that, at least on the PlayStation market, and I think the Xbox was like this too, they introduced this concept on certain games where you can start communities. Yeah. You can join communities. And so there's there's communities like Stoner Gamers or something like that. Or there's,
really?
So you can, like, join communities that say they're just about casual play, non-competitive, for fun.
Oh, that's cool.
I follow one of the communities, so if you want to go into my profile on my PlayStation, I follow one of the weird ones.
That's what's up.
Because it's pretty cool, I mean, it's nice to be able to, like, find people it's so big. The online gaming community is so big. It's nice to be able to find people that like to play the same way you do.
Yeah.
And I think that's really awesome. I mean, and I don't know who came out with it first, whether it was Sony.
It was Xbox.
It was Xbox, I think.
Yeah, Microsoft.
That's cool.
But I mean, that's an awesome thing.
Yeah.
Because it could, let's say you want to get on and play some casual Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Or in this case, it's probably most people are casual, but if you're one of those serious players that, like, wants to play competitively and have teamwork and everybody on a headset and you're tactical and blah blah blah, like, you can now find groups that just play those games and networks that only play those. I mean, I think it's pretty cool.
Don, are you going to be getting Battlefield 5?
I don't know. I certainly had considered it.
That's a new one coming out, right?
Yeah.
And that's going to be World War II?
When does fucking Fallout 76 come out? Because
I'm going
to Google it.
Because that's the game.
But then also Red Dead Redemption is coming out too.
Yeah. October is going to be a fucked up month for video games.
And I don't buy that many video games because I only have X amount of time I have a lot of time, right? But generally when I play video games, I feel like my time is better spent doing something else, and so I'm like, well, I should either be like reading a book or like
that's a mature way of seeing it too.
Yeah, and so that's an unfortunate, like, just an unfortunate, like, transition, I think,
Yeah, I wouldn't call it unfortunate. I would call
only
it
unfortunate
realistic.
because I like playing video games.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I'm sorry. What were you saying?
November 14th comes out. Fallout 76.
Really?
Yeah, November.
Oh, then that's what I'm buying.
There you go.
So,
good.
Or probably for Christmas as well. I'll be like, so someone 76? But that's how I got Fallout 4. Someone bought it for me for Christmas, and I wasted 2 years of my life. So, but God damn it. Did I have a good time playing that game?
Hell yeah.
That's funny.
But yeah, no, I just like that's why one of the reasons I haven't played Fortnite is because I don't have time to be getting super heavy into a game like that. You know, like when I bought Rainbow Six, I had been waiting like over a year to buy Rainbow Six, and it was on super crazy sale, and I was like, "Well, I'm gonna buy that. Like this is a third of the price that it is normally."
Yeah.
And so
Didn't you recently buy it? Like.
yeah, just like maybe 2 months ago I bought it, and it was like 65% off, and so I was like, well,
told me that.
fuck, I'm gonna buy that, and so I did, and got really into it and played it when I had time. But I play a lot of Madden because I can walk away from it at any time. Like it's not something I have to like. I can play online, but I don't feel bad. Just
if you don't play it for a few months.
Peace out, fucker, you know, and just like leaving someone in the middle of a game. So I just don't give a shit. And I love football. So when football was not in season, I played a lot of Madden because I missed fucking football so much, and I just really wanted to be involved in it. So
I see it.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey comes out in October as well.
I never got super into Assassin's Creed. I played it a little bit, you know, maybe like the first and second one, but they started like doing pirates and shit, and like
not down with that.
I'm like, this just seems like maybe it's a little bit too much, you know. But I also
the new one is based in ancient Rome or Greece.
But I also didn't play them, so you know, I don't know if that's too much. Maybe people were like, "Oh my god, now he's a fucking pirate. That's so sick." But I don't know.
I think Assassin's Creed is one of those things where most people that love Assassin's Creed. And if you don't love Assassin's Creed, you're probably not that down with it. I think it's kind of a love-hate thing for the most part.
Well, and I'm also more of like if I were to have to pick a class on like a League of Legends or something, like I'm more of like a tank type of player. You know, I'm not a sneaky type of dude. Like, like let me put on some armor and, you know, give me a two-handed. So like if I'm playing Skyrim, give me a two-handed sword, you know, or a big ass axe. And that's what I'm trying to do. Like, the only magic I'm trying to know is how to heal myself. Like, that's all I want to know how to do. The rest of it, fuck off, you know? I just want health.
Go in swinging.
Just hack away, you know? So, that's just how I play video game. Fallout 4, too. In the armor all the time. I had, like, a shotgun just with a fucking big nasty clip on it, and then just walked in close. Pow, pow, pow.
Yeah, looking to do some hardcore damage is what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what I did. Because in Fallout 4 you can find like legendary weapons, you know, and I found one that was like an explosive shotgun. So all the shells fucking that's what I'm saying. And that's the only awesome. I had 4 or 5 different characters, and that's the only one that I found it in, and it did absurd fucking damage. And so just on even like big like death claws and shit, I just pop. It was like the easiest thing ever. Yeah,
you were golden.
Yeah, it was amazing. So
that's dope.
It got even easier for me to do that. And shotgun shells in that game were cheaper than fuck, you know. So you can just buy them all the time.
That's
Love
awesome.
It. Yeah. Word.
So far, I don't know in Fallout. I didn't play Fallout, but I usually get to be like the healer of anything. Like I always get to be like the sneaky one per se.
You like some of those. You're playing Elder Scrolls Online.
My brother got super heavy into that game. Elder Scrolls Online,
It can suck you in.
Well, I will say, at least from the Elder Scrolls world experience, I mean, the lore behind it is fascinating.
Yeah.
And it runs deep, so people can get really into that kind of stuff. And the stories behind the world building and all that are very interesting.
Well, and when it's so mystical and fantastic, you know, it's so easy to like do stuff like that. In Fallout, it's like at least a little bit more realistic, you know, so you have to kind of like draw some governmental timelines or something like that. But in fucking Skyrim, you know, they're making up years and like, in the age of this 7 million fucking years ago, like, you know, this guy stabbed this guy in the back and started to build this land in the sky, like so.
I think that's part of the reason why.
Yeah.
And I love these. I don't know. That's why I think I love fantasy, because it's a world that's similar to ours in just like the real basics, but then everything else is just so fantastical. That it's unbelievable. And I think I don't know. I get into that shit. I think that's why I kind of prefer Elder Scrolls over Fallout. But that's just me.
That makes sense.
Wait, Chloe in the back?
I had to put her away.
Okay, well, can we shut the doors then? Because she's going to balk. But yeah, how are we running on time? We probably need to jump into sports, don't we?
Yeah, I think I just have like one pop culture thing that I actually wanted to talk to my wife
Okay.
about.
Perfect timing.
Because she's the one that probably will have the most to say about it.
I know the most things that you don't even really want to know about.
I don't doubt it at all.
Did you know that Michael Kors bought Versace?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, what do you think about
Versace
that?
coming to a Ross near you. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, who does? I mean, you can seriously. I mean, you walk into like a TJ Maxx or a Michael Kors, and you can find like really cute like Madame Girl shoes or something like that, and that's
Yeah.
totally a thing. So, how cool that fashion is just becoming like more available to more people.
Yes,
That
that's
is
pretty
cool.
awesome.
I love clothes. I think that's that's my guilty pleasure, and this is probably where Donovan gets a lot of his pop culture stuff from. Is every morning at like 6 a.m. the Daily Mail Snapchat story comes out.
Yeah. Very familiar with that one.
Love scrolling through there because I know that I can't take anything that they're saying like super seriously, but I love seeing what people have worn to these events and like just like the little fashion news and like the pop culture news, you know?
Yeah, I get
Like,
that. I get that.
Also this
understand
week,
why
Khloe
I do that?
Kardashian being called racist because she says she doesn't see color.
Wow.
Yeah, just little
lefty
things
Ned
like
song.
that, you know? Because who doesn't want to know that?
Another piece of pop culture that I actually saw in Philip DeFranco this week. J.K. Rowling kind of got shit on by the left this last week because
Why?
one of the characters in the movie,
Fantastic Beasts.
yeah, the new Fantastic Beast, I guess is Asian.
Korean.
And it's like I guess they accused her of making some kind of link between like Asian culture and like the symbology behind this
Being a reptile.
character and all this stuff and so they got
I only
super
saw it one
offended
time,
and she
I
got
didn't
called
like
out.
Oh my god.
And so I remember
Keep your
seeing
pants
that.
on. She writes fantasy novels.
I know.
Splitting hairs.
Well, I think it's
Yes.
because she tends to
Finding
be.
something to be upset about. No.
Yeah.
Well, she tends to be rather vocal in the
And
in the
super
culture
left.
world.
Sure, super left.
Yeah,
Yeah,
in
so
the
that's
culture
very
war,
shocking.
so-
Yeah.
Don't bite the hand, guys.
Yeah.
It's J.K. Rowling.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we just watched Fantastic Beasts last week.
Just let them do what they're gonna do, and maybe she'll come over to the IDW, and everything will be all right. The
I don't think she
intellectual
will.
dark web.
She's not
Hey.
IDW material.
Let the left keep
Thank you.
pushing her. It's what needs to happen.
Hey, you know what? You're right.
Push her away. That's how everyone gets here.
Don't push her too much, though, because then
Someone
you end
pushes
up on
you
the
away,
right.
and you end up in
Come
the
right
middle.
here.
I mean, when you think about it, when you look at the IDW, the members of the IDW, I think the majority of them are on the left.
Yeah,
Left
definitely leaning
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, I mean, when you look Eric, Joe, Sam Harris,
Dave Rubin.
Dave Rubin, the Weinsteins.
Yeah.
I mean, Dave Rubin, I'd say Dave Rubin is much more libertarian these days. He's become kind of more hardcore libertarian.
Yeah.
You got Ben Shapiro on the right. You got Jordan Peterson, who is probably on the right spectrum.
Him
maybe.
in the middle.
Yeah, he's complicated.
He's a tough read.
Yeah.
He is, which is
I
fascinating.
love him.
But yeah, I think the majority of the IDW is probably on the left,
Yeah.
which is interesting because a lot of their following is that's a very interesting aspect. I don't think I've really thought about that much until just now, and I'm having like kind of a come to Jesus moment.
Come to Jesus.
Jesus.
Anything else pop culture?
That's all that I got.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing.
Yes.
That her talking about goats being relocated made me think of just a fucking little fun factsky that I have here for you.
Flex skis.
Pigs in California, wild pigs in California, are in California because William Randolph Hearst.
That
Brought.
What's that?
He. Oh. Oh,
420
Carolina.
episode, Carolina.
He's part of the reason
Why
why
did I
why hemp and cannabis became
Yeah,
illegal.
but he lived in this huge I don't know, you could almost call it a resort that it's called Hearst Manor, and he owned just obscene amounts of land, and he brought I think wild Asian boars or something like that over from Asia and put them
From not America.
on his land so he could hunt them.
Kind of like a
But
Ted
they-
Nugent almost in a way.
But they breed so quickly that they got
And they become so
overpopulated
aggressive.
and then spread.
They didn't have a predator, a natural predator.
Yeah.
here.
No, because they're fucking big old pigs, and so
And containment was broken.
yeah, and so that is like the whole reason that wild pigs are in California is because of William Randolph Hearst.
I did not know that.
So
Another reason.
go.
Just add it to the list.
another reason to say fuck you, Hearst.
Yeah, come on now, buddy.
Anyway,
Oh.
but that's all I got for that pop culture.
So this, I wanted to tell you during the pre-show, and I know we're not going to have time to do it.
God
so-
damn it.
But I'm going to tell you just something that happened in Seattle recently.
Okay.
And I can fill you in over the cast. But a Seattle judge threw out 15 years of marijuana convictions.
Yeah. Isn't
Word.
that amazing?
That's what's
Up
up.
I'm gonna
until
send you
year
the
it got
articles.
legalized. Yeah,
That's what's
that
up.
15
Pretty awesome.
prior years.
Yep.
Totally.
So,
yeah.
yeah.
I read that. That's so amazing.
Mind you, it sounded like it was just a Seattle judge, and so
Yeah.
the numbers were in the hundreds, I believe.
It was a few hundred.
But
yeah.
still,
That's
I think
what's up.
precedent
That's a few hundred
wise-
people.
That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Like people. Like it's not just. Yeah. That's amazing.
So that
Doesn't matter how small. Yeah.
hopefully
that's
it'll be a
10
trend.
people would have been amazing. Like so.
And that's one of those things where there was no real story other than just what happened.
That's dope.
And I just wanted to tell
Just
you that.
something to
'cause-
be excited about.
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. I fuck with that.
Yeah. And I think from there, we should jump into some sports.
Deportes.
In Spanish, this is Salt of the Streets 3.
Deportes.
ESPN 8 do you want to do your, what do you have for sports?
I have two smaller things. Actually, I got a few things.
What you got?
One of them, the first thing, Mariners pitcher Felix Hernandez
Yes.
is now a proud U.S. citizen.
That's right.
Word.
Yeah, I think it was Monday he went in and did his full-blown citizenship oath and got all that.
That's
and
dope.
Now
You
he's
can
a
see the
U.S.
video
citizen.
on YouTube.
He's from Venezuela, I believe.
Venezuela,
Yeah, and so he's very passionate about the Venezuela issues.
I am fucking sure.
Which
Yeah.
I don't know. Hopefully we can fit that in soon because I really want to talk about Venezuela soon.
Yes, the wives are going to come back soon. We're going to talk about Venezuela.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that. You're
We'll talk a lot about
I'm so
Venezuela.
excited to learn about Venezuela.
My country, Ecuador, definitely is feeling the whole Venezuela situation.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And that's why
Yes.
we definitely need you here because
Yeah.
Yes.
you are perfectly tied into that.
Yeah.
But I had Peter McLaughlin, the president of the Seahawks, president and CEO of the Seahawks, has now stepped down in a team restructuring.
Oh.
And he's been the president for the last 8 years, and now he's being replaced by a guy named Chuck Arnold.
Good old Chuck.
Good old Chuck.
Little Chucky.
Yeah, and so I mean that's kind of on the businessy end of it. So I'm
Yeah.
sure, like you
Sports
kind of
related,
sound like
for
you don't
sure.
know who that is.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and that doesn't surprise me because those things, every single team at its
Care about the
core is
ball,
a business. Yeah. But
No,
speaking
I
of the
care about
ball,
that too.
did you watch the Fitzpatrick game last week?
Who they played last week?
Yeah.
Steelers?
Yeah, Steelers.
He's like, yeah.
Yeah. So I was, because that was during our week 3 fantasy.
Yeah.
Right. And but Ryan Fitz became the first in NFL history to throw 400 yards in 3 straight games.
Hey, that's one of the things I have here.
Boom! Look at that. And but yeah, the big question, I guess, and it's already been answered, but it was earlier this week was people were asking because if you watch that game, it was kind of
3 picks in the first half. Is that what you mean?
It was a rough start.
It was a rough start, and he ended up kind of redeeming himself in the end, and he pulled that 400 yard and 3 straight game stat.
Full of Aaron
dude.
Rodgers.
Yeah.
Slanger.
And so the big question was, all right, well now that the first round quarterback, the
Jameis
starter,
Winston.
Jameis Winston, is back, officially back to work as of I think Tuesday or
He
whatever.
started practice the next day.
Was Fitzpatrick going to keep playing?
Yes, he
Yes,
is.
And
he
he
is.
is this week, and I'm
He
very
is the
happy to see
starter.
that.
Good for him.
Deserves it, man.
It's in the beard.
Jameis
Yeah.
Winston keeps fucking
That's where
around.
he keeps his magic.
Did
Yeah,
you guys
exactly.
see the video of him rubbing beards with I think it's one of his linemen?
Ooh.
I didn't.
It's
Colin.
so funny.
It's great. Yeah.
How is it?
They both have these great big bushy beards, and they like score a touchdown. I think it might just be the end of the game, and Ryan Fitzpatrick lifts up his helmet, and they fucking.
And it's like they just walk up to each other and do it like it was premeditated, and then walk away. Like that was
Yeah.
it. Like beard rub, awesome,
awesome.
rub.
That's
Bye.
That's awesome.
Like
It's rad. Yeah.
made me laugh several times
Beer.
because we watched it several
That's right.
times.
Well, that's all the news I got for
That's what you
sports.
got?
Yeah.
All right. So there's a lot of other things that went with that Ryan Fitzpatrick record. There's like a bunch of fucking records that got broken this week.
Nice.
And so that's what some of these
Left and
things
right
are.
this
And then I got
season.
some injuries that we can go through, which is unfortunate. I realize that the injuries don't really help people because this doesn't come out until Monday.
Yeah, this is true.
So, but it's important to know, I think, and it's important for you to know because you don't fucking know.
This is true.
So
Yeah, my team could be sensitive right now.
yeah. So here are some of these other records that got broken this week, right? Michael Thomas, who's a wide receiver for the Saints, he has the record for the most receptions in the first 3 games ever with 38.
Good lord.
Which is fucking absurd. 38
Yeah.
catches in 3 games is fucking absurd, right? Patrick Mahomes, quarterback for Kansas City, he has the record for the most touchdowns in the first 3 games in a season ever. This is his
Oof.
second year playing the game.
Wow.
He played, I think, maybe 2 games last year behind Alex Smith, and then this is his second year, and he's thrown for fucking 13 touchdowns in the first 3 games.
Good God.
Yeah. Most ever. More than
Unheard
Tom Brady, more than Peyton Manning, more than anybody with their first 3 starts.
Look at that.
Killing. Drew Brees broke the record for the most amount of completions ever with just over 6,300
Oh,
in the time that he's been playing the game.
60. How long has he been playing, you know?
Gotta be close to 10 years, if not over. I will.
Good lord, that's a lot.
I will look that up real quick.
I mean, think about that. How long
Who's
is
that
football
Drew
played
Brees?
every
Drew Brees.
season? And then, I mean, that's insane.
6,300. Yeah, and he's throwing the ball to Michael Thomas, who has the most completions in first 3 games ever, 38.
That does not. Wow, that's
Yes.
a dangerous combo. Can you, ooh, hope nobody's got. I don't think anybody's got that combo in our league
I don't think so.
because that's
He
an
went
insane
in the
combo.
he went in the second round of the 2001 NFL draft.
So
Wow.
there you go. 17 years. So
Awesome.
Take
next
that.
one. Cam Newton has the most rushing touchdowns by a QB ever, 47.
Wow.
Yes.
I was surprised that wasn't Russ.
So
He's gonna
Hey.
be up there.
Well, I don't
It's
know.
gotta
Just
be
because
up
of the
there, but-
touchdowns.
Yeah.
The fact, I mean, Cam, when he gets up close to the line in the red zone like that, he's not afraid to fucking run the ball in.
No.
well, and he's so long, he just
Yeah.
reached that
Yeah.
shit over.
He's a big dude. He's a big ass
He's a
quarterback.
giant
6'5".
human being.
Yeah. Well, who is this? Him and Big Ben?
Cam Newton, Ben Roethlisberger, same height and weight.
No.
Wrap your mind
Swear to
around
God,
that.
both 6'5", both 265.
One is significantly a better athlete.
Yeah, look at the 2 different body types on those 2 men. Same height, same weight.
That's
So,
insane.
Carry that,
I
carry
have
that
to
with
Google
you.
those names now.
Yeah.
Man.
Drastically look different than
Yeah. So then I had Fitzsimmons, first player in the NFL to throw 400 yards in 3 games straight. And I think that might be to open the season. I don't know
Okay.
if that is ever 3 games straight or
Fitzpatrick?
just to open the season. But it's one of those 2. I'll try and fact check that when I listen to this. Kerryon Johnson is the first Lions running back to rush over 100 yards since 2013. It's been fucking 5 years since anybody's rushed for over 100 yards in the Lions backfield.
Lions
God damn.
run game sucks dicks.
I also heard this week that Chris Carson, he got 32 carries for the Hawks last week, right? That's the most amount of carries any running back has had since Sean Alexander in like 2006. The whole time Marshawn played here, didn't get 32 carries. Which he didn't fucking need them.
Yeah.
He didn't need 32 because
But that's crazy.
Because Chris Carson was only running for like 2.5 yards
Yeah.
carry or something like that. But that's what the 32 like does. You know, he's fucking chipping away the whole time.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I played Lacey, I think, had Chris Carson, and he fucking just
Lacey, our
off last
current league
week.
champ.
fucking chipped out. He chipped away with
Defending champ.
at me until the second half, and he just didn't play anymore, which was
Yeah.
a saving grace for me. Because otherwise, if he would have stayed in there, he would have just gone, little bit, and he would have fucking knocked me out.
One
You know,
lever shot
I'm
back
just
in.
putting this out here now. If Case Bowles wins, we're not inviting new people to play anymore.
Yeah, that dude's
No
a fucking
more.
ringer.
Yeah,
I've never
Have
seen
enough
that.
of the newcomers coming in and just fucking everybody.
Right?
Case Bowles is
Over
killing
it.
That's
I was
right.
gonna say
I'm looking good at 2-1.
that makes
I
sense.
got what?
Well, I was just looking like, why do they have such different builds? I mean, he's a corn-fed Iowa boy. That makes sense.
Who is the other person?
Cam Newton.
Okay.
Cam Newton
was
is
being
like,
groomed and shaped from the time.
yeah.
He was a child, yeah.
Yeah.
He caused a big hoopla, like when he was leaving college or like
People
in
fucking
college,
hated
because
him,
his
yeah.
dad was like, "Why aren't we getting paid?" Blah blah blah. He was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
like trying to get that incentive from colleges,
Yeah.
and then from then on, it was like, ooh, bad taste about Cam Newton.
Yeah.
Like, he gets it done.
Fucking pussy.
Yeah, him and his berets. Yes.
He does have the one thing I really just can't stand about Cam Newton. It's when he starts like doing poorly, he has very, very little ability to rebound. He kind of like starts throwing a fucking tantrum, and then the rest of the game is over. He's gonna do shit.
Takes
Right.
over.
You know, Tom Brady kind of did the other thing a couple weeks ago.
Tom Brady's disappointment this year.
Yeah. And thank God, I'm super happy about that.
Everyone
Super
is
happy about that.
for
Yeah.
Tom Brady.
Yeah, pretty boy Tom Brady.
Tom Brady can eat it. He needs to go home, retire to Giselle, and call it
You
No,
got enough,
actually.
man.
go home and kiss your kid on the mouth.
Come on.
After that, the Steelers are fielding trade offers for Le'Veon Bell.
Oh.
I don't know if you know exactly what the situation is with Le'Veon Bell.
I don't.
So Le'Veon Bell is the running back for the Steelers. Right?
Mm-hmm.
He's holding out because Le'Veon Bell wants $17 million a year. Okay.
Well, he's been
Um,
franchise tagged.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sorry.
We've talked about that before. That they put a franchise tag on him, and a franchise tag means that you get the average salary of the top 5 players at your position, which is like $14 million this year. That's what the franchise tag is worth, right?
Okay.
Not enough.
He doesn't want 14. He wants 17 because he's top 3 running backs in the league, no question, right? So he wants 17. So he's holding out, right? But under this franchise tag, he has to play at least 6 games for this season to count, or else he doesn't get to be a free agent next year. So if he keeps holding out with the Steelers, he has to play from week 10 on so that he can be a free agent next year so he can go to another team and try and get 17, right?
Oh.
So he's holding out this whole time. Well, the Steelers have a running back named James Conner who is fucking killing it. So they're like, well, then hold the fuck out. We don't care. And so because it's now coming into week 4 and he hasn't played a single down, hasn't showed up to any OTAs, no training camp, no nothing, they're starting to take trade offers. So the Jets are looking at him. I heard that the Colts were looking at him. I heard the Texans were looking at him.
Anyone who can afford him.
Anybody who
Yeah.
has the cap room is who's going to come in. And if you have somebody who's a young rookie quarterback, that's going to help. A big nasty running back in the backfield that people have to focus on, so that they can't just be putting everybody out in the field, and try and make you beat other
Yeah.
corners and shit like that. Like
Yeah.
it takes some of the pressure off of you and gives you even like a little check down, a little something like so.
Yeah, I can see that. It's somebody for the, if you got a really strong run game like that, your quarterback can fall back on that.
Exactly.
If he's getting totally outplayed out in the field, and
Exactly.
like you said, that there's massive safety issues,
Yeah.
then don't throw the fucking ball and hand it to this guy because he's a steady.
Yeah.
I can see that.
So no trades yet. I also fielded a trade offer from Case Bulls for Le'Veon Bell because we talked about that, but he wanted fucking. I told you, wanted Leonard Fournette, and that I just can't do.
So Le'Veon Bell is
Not comfortable.
not comfortable, huh?
No.
He needs a better.
I need something a little less than that because I don't know how long I'm waiting for Le'Veon Bell.
This is
But
true.
I'm going to take him off Case Bulls' hands. Who would I rather have for the rest of the season, Leonard Fournette or Le'Veon Bell? Leonard Fournette. So
Gotcha.
That's where I'm at right now.
That's funny.
He at least has a floor and a ceiling as it stands.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But even though I think that Le'Veon Bell is going to get traded and he's going to go somewhere, like I still, that's still a big risk to be taken. But
Well,
I thought I was going to be able to get him for cheaper than that.
Yeah.
But
It's a
I
dangerous
hope.
game we got to play, man.
yeah,
Sometimes you got to gamble.
but I did fucking beat Isaiah's dick last week. So
Which
fuck
is
you,
really
Isaiah.
cool because Isaiah is way too good at fantasy football.
Yeah.
Isaiah is
when
way
I-
too good.
When I got that first, I squeaked
I'm
by
playing
with a
Isaiah
win.
this week and I'm scared.
Yeah, rightfully so.
Yeah.
Although
It can be done.
it
I have
can.
a tough schedule.
It can be
If
done
I
3
can
times
do
in a
it.
row.
Fucked.
Fuck you, Isaiah. He's 0-3 now.
I can't handle this first one. It would hurt. It would hurt me on the
No,
inside.
you gotta beat him.
Shame on me and my
You gotta
game.
beat him, and you gotta come back and beat me in our work league.
Freaking
Whatever.
Yeah,
Fucking
what-
30-some points to Cooper Cup. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. It's
Yeah,
gonna happen.
Cooper Cup went the fuck off.
I know you don't like beating me, but I have just prepared myself to lose to you this week in the work league.
That's funny.
Yeah.
My opponent this week, Team Hike. We both had some players on the Monday or the Thursday night game.
Yeah.
With the Rams and the Vikings. So I watched that game on Amazon Prime, which was dope to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Thanks,
It
Amazon.
came in great, yeah.
Right?
But I just had a kicker and a defense plan. I had the LA defense and the LA kicker.
They had a couple sacks at the end, so at least they like saved.
Yeah, well, they were negative for a while.
Yeah.
But
We saw that.
Either game, the two offenses were running trains on
That
each
shit was
other,
crazy.
man.
It was so back
nuts.
and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But he had two wide receivers that were playing, Cooks and Diggs, and they both got over 20 points apiece.
Yeah.
That hurts me emotionally.
That'll
Brandon
get
Cooks
ya.
went off.
Yeah, so my guys need to fucking seriously commit this week, and I need some fucking points because I got both my my Cleveland players. I think is it Cleveland's got the bye week?
I don't know.
No, it's
No, I don't.
Carolina
think
has
so.
the bye. Yeah, sorry. I got like Devin Funches
Carolina and like the
and Josh
Redskins.
Doxson.
Yeah, Redskins.
Yeah, Redskins are on bye this week.
Redskins.
Stephon
Yeah.
Diggs had 11 catches for 123 yards.
Jesus.
And Adam Thielen had 8 catches for 135 and a touchdown. Kirk Cousins
Dude.
threw
Yeah.
36 completions for 422 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Wow.
Jared Goff on the other side of the ball threw 465 yards and 5 touchdowns in 26 completions. Cooper Kupp had 9 receptions, 162 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Fuck you, Cooper Cup.
Cooper Kupp, I think Cooper Kupp got 38 points.
You know what's funny is that we drafted him for Kaylee's team though, and Kaylee doesn't care about her fantasy team whatsoever. But I know that she likes people with funny names on her team.
Oh yeah.
Cooper Cup, come on. So
Yeah,
that's
Cooper
who we
Kupp.
drafted for.
I
and
remember
he just
that
went
at the
off.
draft.
Went off.
That's funny.
Yeah, so you're welcome, Kaylee.
Oh, but yeah, it's gonna be an interesting football week, man.
Yeah. So I just got a couple more here for news and then the injuries. The Vikings, they have a star D lineman, Everson Griffin. He was involved in an incident on Saturday where he threatened to shoot somebody. I meant to have an article up about that, but forgot that. Oh, one more record. Adam Thielen is one of the 3 players to start a season with 100-plus receiving yards in the first 4 games with Randy Moss and Isaac Bruce.
Man.
Only 3 players ever. So that's one more. The Titans cut Rashard Matthews because he posted some shit on Instagram about he wasn't getting used on the team and was bitch about everything, and they signed him to a contract with no guaranteed money, so they cut his ass.
He said, all right, bye.
Yep. The Panthers signed a safety, Eric Reed, to a 1-year deal. And then also during the Thursday night game, someone broke into Robert Woods' house, who was a wide receiver for the Rams.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, they knew he wasn't going to be home, I guess.
Yep. So someone broke into his house.
Damn.
That's rough.
Yeah, that's the last
Just
news
to
I
hang out in there? Do you know if they stole
I
anything?
didn't. I forgot to look up an article.
You're just like, I was
actually.
in his house.
Comic-
Like, I didn't
comic
take
book men
anything.
fucking-
I slept on his bed.
Right, I rolled around in his
Yeah.
stuff and I left.
I used his bathtub.
That's
I left
so
my
weird.
DNA everywhere.
So I'll look that up for next time. When it goes to injuries, Jimmy Garoppolo, QB for the 49ers, tore his ACL and his MCL because he's a dumb piece of shit and wouldn't just run out of bounds. He tried to extend the play and got all fucked up.
Yeah.
The Giants tight end Evan Ingram, he's week to week with a sprained MCL.
Ooh.
So he's going to be out for a little while. The Falcons safety Ricardo Allen, he's out for the rest of the year with a torn Achilles. And they had already lost their first safety. So they have all rookies in the backfield. So if you got anybody playing the Titan or playing in the Falcons, any wide receivers playing the Falcons, start them motherfuckers.
Good chances there.
Yeah,
Get 'em.
start them motherfuckers.
I hope you did that on Monday.
Yeah. The Packers D lineman Muhammad Wilkerson, he's going to miss the rest of the season. He fucked up his ankle. Richard Sherman's out for a couple weeks because he fucked up his calf. He had to be helped off
That's
the
right.
field during the 49ers game. Linebacker Sean Lee out of Dallas, he's out for a couple weeks. I didn't write down how he got hurt, so I must not know.
No, who has an IDP league? It's not like it.
But it's important for the defense itself.
The overall
Yeah.
structure. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll feel you there.
The Jets placed their corner Patrick Robinson on IR with a broken ankle, so he's out for fucking 8 weeks. Corner for the Rams, Aqib Talib, he was placed on IR to be out for 8 weeks. And so both of the corners for the Rams are out, and that's why Kirk Cousins could throw on their fucking defense like that. It was shit. was because
Block in case you
it
guys
is
were
5 o'clock.
wondering.
And so that's why Kirk Cousins could throw all over the Rams like that, is because their corners were gone.
Yeah.
The Broncos tight end Jake Butt, he tore his ACL and he's out for the rest of the year. He also tore his opposite ACL last year.
Oh.
Was out for all of
Poor
last
guy.
year. So
Wow.
Dude.
that's really interesting. And then the Giants placed running back Jonathan Stewart on IR with a foot injury this week. So he's going to be out for 8 weeks, which, you know, I mean, no one cares about that anyway.
I have somebody on IR. Who is it? Oh, come
Well,
on, Ab.
because it's fucking Saquon Barkley. I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
It's gonna.
Yeah, Rex
Yeah.
Burkhead.
he did. Rex
Yeah.
Burkhead did go on IR this week.
Yeah.
Should have dropped his ass anyway, though. I dropped him this week in like 2 other leagues.
Okay.
He was pooping on me,
Yeah, he was.
so wasn't
Yeah.
having it.
He has not been performing.
Yeah, the
Neither has
Ducks.
Gronk though. Gronk's been hurting me.
Well, the tough thing about Gronk, right, with the Patriots offense the way that it is right now, because they just got Josh Gordon, they didn't have no fucking wide receivers.
Yeah.
So everybody that they're playing, that's how they could lose to the Lions, because and Matt Patricia just worked for Matt Patricia, the head coach there, just came from the Pats last year.
Okay.
But
He knew some stuff.
Yeah.
they just double fucking triple team Gronk, and they're like, make these other 2 bitch ass wide receivers try and beat our corners, and it's not going to happen. So I mean, Gronk is the only real weapon there, you know, and so you
And
just
you can't utilize him.
just don't let him get the ball. Just slap his hands when you get up there, and don't let
Dude,
him
I
get the ball.
snatched him up early too.
Yeah. You always have to get
Yeah.
Gronk. You have to go.
No, you drafted really well. It
Yes.
wasn't a mistake, like to do that.
You have Michael Thomas, right? Or does someone else have Michael Thomas?
I don't have Michael Thomas.
Oh.
I wish I had Michael Thomas.
I think Joe has Michael Thomas. Oh, fuck Isaiah has Michael Thomas. That little bitch, I think.
Get him.
Yeah.
But Oregon took their first loss last week to Stanford in overtime. It happened on Saturday. I fell asleep and missed overtime because we do this goddamn podcast.
Yeah,
I get so
right.
fucking tired.
I watched the rest of the game for him though, so I could tell him how it ended.
There you go.
It went into OT. I continued to watch it.
Yeah.
So amazing.
College football is just not super my thing, but
Yes.
the Ducks is just a whole different game. They play in 2 hours, so
So this week, today at 7:30, we play Cal. We're playing Berkeley. Fuck Cal. We're about to fuck all over them. It's going to be a whole deal.
Donovan's
7:30.
gonna sleep through the second half. He's just not even
Not happening.
Not happening.
I'm not drinking any more beers when I get home because then I will fall asleep.
You drink coffee.
Something. But I think that is all I have in the way of sports. The Hawks play the Cardinals this week in Arizona. That's going to be a good game. And then the Rams come up here next week. That is going to be horribly unfortunate to watch.
We always
It
lose
is.
to the Rams for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Like when we were good, we were like, "Oh no, the Rams!"
But
We
now,
jinx ourselves.
but now the Rams are crazy good. So.
Yeah, so that's just gonna be how
Yep.
that is.
So the Hawks play one tomorrow. My mom and my sister are going to come over to my house, and we're going to eat an oven meal, and it's going to be delicious. You know,
Yum.
processed food in the oven. It's
Love
Say
it.
hi
Yeah.
to them for us.
Stouffer's mac and cheese is like my favorite thing on the planet.
We bought some taquitos, and we bought some fucking pizza rolls, and my mom is bringing over like some egg rolls and some mozzarella sticks. It's going to be a
Yum.
whole.
Yeah, when people think oven meal, it's like, no, it's not lasagna. It's literally things come out of a box, they go onto the tray, and they come out of the
a
oven.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it.
My brother got Kathy a bottle from Ecuador, water bottle.
Oh, really?
Oh,
that's
she's
awesome.
gonna love that.
Yes, that's
Perfect.
incredible.
So whenever they send it, we'll give it to you.
Thank
The
you
only
very
thing that would
much.
have been better is if he stole it straight from the restaurant. Like,
My mom is weird about that. And then I think Trent is going to come over for the night game tomorrow.
Nice.
It's going to be sweet. What are you guys doing for the game tomorrow? Do you know?
Working probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have some last minute stuff we have to take care of, and it's probably going to interfere with football tomorrow.
Hell game. Oh, right. You have
Yeah.
to do all
The
this
thing.
shit. Okay.
boring adults.
Well, if you really need help, then you can call me and I'll do it because I love you. But
Thanks, you buddy. I would not subject you
Godparents
to
to our
that.
child. Whatever.
yeah. So that's all I have for sports. I don't think I was going to say anything about fantasy. Do you have any questions or anything about fantasy this week?
No, I think we're good.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna put it out there that I am gonna try and I'm gonna listen to like 2 more episodes of that fantasy podcast and then hit them up and see if I can.
Do you want to drop him a name?
I think that it is called Let's Talk About Fantasy.
One of their amazing SoundCloud followers Is that what it is?
They followed me on Instagram, actually, on like my personal Instagram, and that's why I just clicked on it. It is called Let's Talk Fantasy Football, and so I'm gonna listen to a couple more episodes and reach out to them and be like, "How do you feel about guest appearance?" And,
That'd be awesome.
you know, be like, I do a podcast too with a moderate following, and
Yeah.
you know, and so
It looks like they're Skype centric.
yes,
Of it, so
yeah,
that might be,
so.
yeah.
And they didn't look like they had a website, so I'm not sure where they're based out of. Because if they're anywhere local, then I would go and do it, but they probably are not. But
Yeah.
on the off chance, I would be willing to go and do it.
That's dope.
But that's a whole nother. I'll also Skype with them if that's what they do. So
Nice.
I don't give a shit.
So before we get into your closing line,
What you got?
you go ahead.
Well, listen to the podcast that you recommended, Colin, about, was it Don who recommended you?
The
Logan?
Wolverine podcast?
Yeah.
Ooh!
That was
Comic book one?
amazing.
Isn't that sick as fuck?
Oh my
It's so
gosh.
good.
Isn't that sick as fuck?
Yes,
So
it is
good.
fucking amazing.
We'll listen to that on the way home.
Okay.
It is.
What are
a
we talking
trip.
about?
Oh,
I know what you're talking about.
Well, no, we talked about it. I talked about it with Colin last
Yeah.
week.
Oh,
So
okay.
if anybody listened to last week's episode, they know what we're talking about. But it's a podcast that I found that is Marvel based around Wolverine, but it's not like he's not the center of it. You know,
Yeah.
it's like kind of around him.
Yeah, and
Investigation.
it's an
Yeah.
audio drama.
Yes.
So you listen to each episode and it's just
Like
totally
Little Wolf and
narrative.
Annie, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
X-Men.
it's like an old
It's
school
really
radio show. You
It's
know,
really cool.
Yeah,
it's almost like an audiobook in a way, but it's just all dialogue and
Yeah.
dude, and
Hear-
it's so good.
Well, they
the
do
sounds.
it, and they do
Yeah.
it with a 360 microphone, so like things sound lower or higher when
Yes.
people are doing different shit. And
Yeah.
so you can
It's
hear
good.
it. Definitely both headphones or in a car is a good place to listen
Right.
to it because you
Yeah,
can hear
I remember you
everything.
talking
around
about
you.
that.
Yeah, so
It's pretty awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, I like them, and it comes out on Wednesdays.
Yes.
It's called Wolverine: The Long Night, and that's a great podcast.
Everyone who likes,
Being
a good
entertained.
story like that, yeah,
Yeah.
should
It's a good
check
suspense story.
It out. It's awesome.
Yeah, because it's
It's-
not even like I said. Wolverine's not like the center of this story. I mean,
Yeah.
he's talked about, but it's not. He's barely been involved in
Yeah.
Yeah.
like the 4 episodes or 5 episodes I've listened to. So there's other shit going around. So even if you're not really into comic books or X-Men, this is something that can appeal to you. Like it's
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
good.
it's fucking
quality.
good.
Yeah,
That
really
lady's
good.
such a
Such a bitch.
Yeah,
right? She's a real
She's a
bitch.
witch.
Well, I was gonna ask you ladies, how was your first full-blown legitimate podcast
Yeah, what do you
appearance?
It was fun.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
Cool.
Y'all
I
were
like-
nervous, right?
Yeah.
You like what?
Oh, I like sitting and listening, and I'm very much like a chime-in person. So sometimes it's really hard not to be like, "Oh, but what about this?"
Oh yeah.
And now it's welcomed, so I'm like, "What about this?"
This girl. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, no, this
Well-
is fun. I feel bad that I didn't really I'm not super into anything that I can bring to the table where I'm like, oh, I know a lot about this, let me tell you. So, you know, but I like that's the whole point is to be involved in the conversation. You guys make that easy, so I like that.
No, you're
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, then we're doing our job right.
Your
You
opinion's
guys do
biased.
amazing.
Yeah.
The baby.
Well, I think
I know,
on
he's
that.
got to get a baby rub in,
Yeah.
Always.
every couple hours.
How do you feel about your experience?
Cool.
Yeah.
I got a little carried away, I think, with the goat talking.
No,
I don't think you did.
perfect.
Yeah,
That's
you did
absolutely perfect.
absolutely perfect.
It was a cool experience to be in a podcast. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
of course.
Anytime. We'll have you back for a proper wifey week. We'll talk about where you're from and where
I think it
you're
would be
from.
fun
Yeah.
to play a game.
And Jordyn wants me to make up another game, so I'll make
Even
up
if
a
it's
game.
almost like a battle of the sexes or like a know your spouse type deal, where
Whoa.
you have to know the answer to whatever question they're gonna, you know what I mean?
That would be great.
How well do you know me, motherfucker? Like,
Oh boy.
I think that would be really fun.
We're about to get in
People
trouble.
to see, right?
Title.
I think people would enjoy that.
Yeah, they
All right.
probably would.
Well, I'll work on that.
There
we
you
can,
go.
We can do that because Colin wants to talk about Venezuela soon, and we want to have Caroline on for that. So
Yeah.
we'll do that in the next couple weeks. So I'm
Maybe
on a-
that'll be
on a
like your
timeline
guys'
for
Christmas
that.
special.
There you go.
Yeah, some Venezuela and a game.
I don't think
Yeah.
it's gonna change much until then. So
Yeah, I don't know what we're gonna
Yeah.
do, but I have a feeling we're gonna do some kind of a Christmas special.
It's gonna be fun.
Just
yeah.
Well, my birthday's Christmas Eve, so we're doing
exactly. So in honor of probably tell him Steve Dave.
something. Yeah.
Oh,
We'll
so
definitely
funny.
have to have a Christmas special.
We were listening to that on the way here. One of the
funny ass
Christmas
show.
pods. It's fucking so great.
I just can't stand listening to them all laugh.
You just have to learn. You gotta learn to love to hate it.
Okay.
On the way here, they were calling. It's the 2016 Christmas pod that we were listening to, and so they were doing a game where they had to call people and talk to them about the Santas in the malls. Like somebody who works in the mall, you got to ask about Santa in the mall, and you had to get him to say certain words. So moist and fucking Hitler, you know.
Slit.
Yeah,
Blister,
yeah,
like
and
just
yeah,
weird
blister,
stuff.
and so you get they were playing for money for one of the ants, and so you get X amount of dollars for each word. It was pretty great.
I will say that's pretty fucking moist.
Yeah,
Yes.
surprisingly
Those
easy.
words do
to-
not affect me anymore.
That's an
at
Easter
all.
egg for somebody if they're actually listening to the whole,
Yeah.
the whole cast.
Surprisingly easy to get someone to say Hitler.
Yeah, it was. And this is a
Well, I
little
don't know. I'm not
disappointing.
opposed to saying Hitler. Just saying it could be used as an adjective for a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like, yo, what do you think about that guy? Oh, he's fucking Hitler, isn't he? Yeah, he's Hitler. Sure.
Fuck you, Spence.
Word.
Yeah,
that
Casey, if
everybody?
you've listened to this long, then you know. But yeah, so that's. Do you guys have anything else that you want to add into this? Any other final touches, last words? No. Baby Dax, what's up?
He's good.
Shout out, Baby Dax.
Instead of chicken pot pie, he's asleep.
Yep. All right. Well, then I think what I have here, Colin, with all the really weird shit we've talked about with the goats and all the other things, I'm gonna go and find some classy, sophisticated people who can handle their booze, don't talk about their bleached assholes, and aren't obsessed with poop. Okay.
I think I'm going to do the same thing, Don. We might have to part company.